So today we will be doing PYQ paper. So today we will do like both sessions, like forenoon and afternoon, because we don't have many more sessions. So tomorrow you will have an instructor session where the like entire revision will be done. So that is 6 to 8. So we have TA sessions today and then again day after tomorrow. So today we will be doing the paper, which is the May paper of 2022, and Thursday we will do the 2023 September paper, so which we have now got the PDF. So instead of the Jan of 2022, we will be doing the September of 2023 because that is a more recent paper. So let me share my screen.
And Shan, what will we do? What will we do today?
Yeah, so today we will be doing the 2022 May and 2022 May AN, so FN and AN papers. And on Thursday, we'll do 2023 September AN and FN papers. Okay, yeah. So let me open the paper. So today we will be doing the 2022 May papers.
Sir, all these PYQs will be enough for our preparation?
Yeah, so for end-term preparation, PYQ, and like if you have done GA, PA, and PYQs, those are enough. So mostly the patterns of the questions are similar. So even the questions don't always repeat, but the like types of questions are same. So if you're familiar with the syllabus, so you can evaluate yourselves on that using the PYQ.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's start with this paper. So here the first question is a week 8 question. So for the people asking whether week 8 will come, so you can see in this paper, we are seeing the week 8 Git question. So it may or may not also come. So in this first question, we have considered that you have checked out a version 1 branch of a Git repository on your local machine. You have modified a file named getstudents.sh and added a new file, utilities.sh. You have also run the git add command for the file getstudents.sh, but not on the newly added file, utilities.sh. What could be the correct output if you executed the git status in your local repository? So what have we done? We have basically two files. We have created a new file, utilities.sh, and we have basically changed a file which is already there in that repository. So what will basically be the state of these two? So before doing git add itself, so when this file is modified and when this file is created, so what is the state of this getstudents.sh file in this repository? So this is a tracked file, but when a tracked file is modified, so is that basically tracked by Git or does it become untracked?
It's tracked by Git.
Sorry, your voice is a bit low. I cannot.
No, it's tracked by Git, I suppose.
Yeah, it remains tracked, but it will now tell you that it is now modified, right? So it will notify you that it is modified. Whereas if you add a new file, so that remains untracked as long as you don't add it. Right? So this file which we are creating, utilities.sh, this will remain untracked. And when we add this, then it will show that a new file is added which is not tracked. So let me also try to show it. So here, if I create a new repository, so right now we don't have anything in that folder. So if I create a folder, if I create a file, it's a new file. So now if I do git status, so you can see that it will be shown this way. So we have an untracked file, which is new file. So when we have a file that is not tracked and created for the first time, then we get it this way, untracked file. Now if I add that, then the status will show this way. So now it will be showing in green, and instead of showing it this way, untracked file, it will show changes to be committed because we have now added it. So adding it means it is pushed into the staging area. So this is a staged change, which is staged for the commit. So if I then commit it also with, let's say, the message initial commit. Right, so 1 second. So you can see now in the git status, we again get nothing. Right, so we have this file, but now it has been added and committed. So in our git log, we see that commit, initial commit, which has now added this. And thus now, because we have committed it, the git status will not show anything. So again, if we add some other file, it will again show that way untracked file. But now if I change this file, so let's say I change the contents of this file, but don't create a new file. So then it will show it in a different way. So it will not show untracked files. It will show changes not staged for commit. So it will show what is the change. So here it will show modified, and it will say that it is not staged for commit. So this is because we have not pushed this into the staging area. So only when we do git add new file again, only then this will be pushed into the staging area. So now it will be changes to be committed. So before it was changes not staged for commit, and after doing git add, which is the act of staging it, then it becomes changes to be committed. So then if we commit it, then this will also go away. So in this question, we have two files. One is newly created and one is modified. And then we have done git add on the files which was modified. But we have not done the git add on this file. So what will be the output of git status? Like we will have output for two things. We will have the output for the modified file, which is get students. And we have the output for the new file, which is utilities. So what will be the message for each of them? So here basically what we did is we modified it, then we did git add on this. So what will be the message shown by git on this?
I guess modifications not pushed, so not staged for commit.
Okay, and for the next one, utilities.
This will show the untracked files and
So
yeah,
this one will be untracked files.
yeah.
So this one, it will not be changes not staged because we have done git add, right? So git add means I have staged it. So this will be green color and it will be like changes staged for commit.
Oh, okay, got it, got it.
Because we have added it here. Right, so that is basically the correct option. So you can see we will have changes to be committed on the get students, which is modified, and we will have untracked files on the utilities, which is a new file. Right, so hopefully this one is clear, this question. Right, so let's move on then to the next one. So next question is, which of the following options can be used to count the number of empty lines in the file input.txt? So assume we have a file called input.txt. So how can we count the number of empty lines in it? So let us also try that out. So for example, let's say we have a file called, so let me just call it input.txt as well. So here we have some text and maybe some other text, and let's say I have an empty line here. And again, I have some text here, and again, I have some text here. So I have two empty lines here. So empty lines basically is a line that has no character in it, just the starting and the ending of the line. So if I want to count the number of total lines in this, how do we do that?
Well, if I might suggest, I'm thinking it a different way. If we do something like a replacement, where like we replace all the lines that are there and we replace all the empty lines with some character. So just single character. So
Okay.
something
Okay.
is that, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. So let us first see how we can count the total number of lines itself. Right. So if I like don't care about empty and non-empty, how do I just count how many lines there are in a file?
WC minus L.
Okay, and then
And the name of
yeah. So this way we will get the total number of lines. So now you're telling us to substitute basically everything, any normal character to be nothing, and only replace the empty line with a character, right? So how do we do that? Like what commands do we use?
we can use sed, sed. So that should be like sed, then s substitute, dot star, uh,
Okay.
replace it with nothing, just so another slash, and another command would be like semicolon, and then uh,
Yeah.
semicolon, and then replacing the empty ones with a single character, maybe a.
Okay, so how do we match empty lines?
Um, oh, so it's like the caret symbol and the dollar symbol.
Yes, okay. And let's say we replace it with X. Yeah. So if I do it on this input.txt, okay, I forgot to close this. Yeah, so then we get this, right? So here, because we are doing this first, so all the lines are becoming empty. And then because we are doing this, so because now all the lines are empty, all of them are replaced by X. So we are still getting X for all of them. So how can we remedy this?
So we do the X part first, and then do the
Yes,
no. Uh,
yes, that will work.
okay. No, but I think won't it replace the X with the empty lines then?
Okay, yeah. So either way, we will have an issue,
Ah,
right? So
ah.
if we are replacing empty lines with X, and then we are replacing anything with nothing, so then we'll have nothing at all, right? So either way, this will not work. So let us not use set, because this is simply a question of finding lines, and so we don't actually need to do any substitution here. So you already kind of answered the question in the process, right? So what is the regex for matching empty lines?
It's
The carrots symbol
caret
and
and dollar.
Caret and dollar, right? So what command do we use if we just want to match a pattern in a file, like match a
So
regex?
you can use
okay, so
that.
do we use grep and then wc minus l?
Yeah, so we can use grep, right? So if you use grep with this pattern on the input, then we only get those files, right? So you cannot obviously see it, but only those empty files are printed. So yes, as you mentioned, we can use wc minus l to get the number of lines, but in grep we can also directly get the number of lines, right? How do we do that?
Minus c, right? I
Yeah,
guess.
you can use minus C. So this is basically one of the answers. There might obviously be other answers as well. So you can also use sed in this. So you don't actually have to do all the substitutions. What you can do is you can use minus n, and then only for the lines that match this regex, you print those lines, right? So then if you do the wc minus n, sorry, you have to give the file name also, then you will also get to this way. Right. So if you don't want to use WC, you can also use sed to count the number of lines as well. So how can we count the number of lines in the standard in using sed?
Equal to sign.
Okay, so equal to will print all the line numbers. So it will print 1 and 2. So how do I print only the, basically, how do I print the number of lines?
Equals to exclamation sign dollar. Is that
Uh, you're close. So it is dollar equal to. So dollar means the last line. So I want to print the line number of only the last line, which basically is the same as the total number of lines. And also you can see the line also is being printed. So I don't want that. So I can use the minus n to suppress that. So this way also we can get, which is obviously like a long-winded way. So the simplest solution would be to use grep and get the number of empty lines. So let us see what are the options now. So the first option is sed, and then starts with dot star and then dollar. But multiple things wrong with this, obviously. So to match empty lines, we need to do starts with and dollar and nothing in between. And secondly, we have a unclosed quotations, right? So the quotation is opened and never closed here. So this anyway is a wrong command totally, which will not even run. So let's move into the next option. So the next options is matching for starts with and then space and then present 0 or more times and then the end of the line. And then here again also we have the unterminated quotation as well. So even if this was terminated, so what this means is that only for those lines that have one or more space in it and nothing else. Whereas that is not what an empty line means. It's an empty line is a line that is totally empty. It cannot even contain space. So that's why option 2 and 3 are also not correct. So the option 4 is the correct option. So here what we are doing is we are using sed. So I think this should be grep. Let us see if this works. So we have sed and then the pattern to match start and the end. And then if we do input, so as you can see here, we are getting an error, right? So this is most probably a mistake in this. So here this should be grep and not sed, because in sed you have to give a command so that it matches. So you basically have to do / to match this regex and p to print those lines. Right, and Okay, why is this? Okay, and we have to also use -n to not print the other lines by default. So then you can get those lines, and then you have to count the number of lines. So just doing this will not work with sed. So here you have to actually use the grep command. So instead of sed, you have to use the grep command. So then we will get the counts, and then you can do -c to get the number of lines in that. Right. Hopefully this one is clear how we get the answer.
And just to clarify, these two, the second and third option, they
Yeah.
would print lines with the opening and closing square brackets, right? So
No. So opening and closing square brackets means any character inside it. So here this means if the line contains 0 or more spaces, and this means if the line contains 1 or more spaces. So the square brackets are not matched literally. If you want to match,
right, so like the one that we use while suppose saying 1, 2, 3. So
yeah. So it is same for anything. So here actually we don't need the square brackets because we just have one character here, but basically to make it clear that this character is here, so they have put the square bracket. But even if we don't put a square bracket, just space star will also mean the same thing.
okay, and these won't work because they will take into account anything with a space. So
No, it will take into account lines that have only space. So for example, if I add another line here where I have some spaces and nothing else, right? So by our logic, it should still print two. Okay. Oh, sorry. My text editor actually removes empty spaces. Let me open something else. Yeah. So let's say here I add a few spaces. Sorry. Okay. Why is this not working? Okay. Yeah. So let's say I here have only a few spaces. Right. So now if I run this, so you can see the answer should still be 2 because this is an empty line and this is an empty line, but this one has some spaces in it. So it is not an empty line. But if I say grep starts with and then space present 0 or more times, so this will match also that empty line. So it will print 3, which is not what we want.
okay, got it.
And what happens if I do the third option, which is basically one bracket?
If it's 2 spaces, then it will match it.
So is it 2 spaces?
Oh, sorry, 1 space followed by any number of spaces, right?
Yeah, so this basically means 1 or more space.
One or more.
Right? So this means 0 or more, and this is same as 1 or more. So what will be the output for this?
This would still be 3, right? Because I guess you put in 2 spaces there. So even it, yeah, that would still, I guess, yeah, 3 should be the output.
Okay. Any other answers? Anyone else?
I think it should be 1.
Yes, it will be 1, right? Because I'm telling 1 or more. So the earlier lines now will not be matched because there is no space. So only this one has 1 or more, which is 2 or how many ever I put, I don't remember. So only this one will match and the others will now not match because these are empty lines.
Okay, got it. That was stupid. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So basically, this way of telling 1 or more is not usually what we do. So to tell 1 or more, we usually use the plus symbol. So this is same as that. So both are printing 1. So we don't want either of these. We don't want 0 or more space. We don't want 1 or more space. We want totally empty. That's why we are using the directly this one where we are getting 2. So hopefully this is clear. So let's move on to the next question. So here the question is, select the command to find all files but not directories within the current directory that are modified in the last 3 days and delete them. So what command what is the base command that we use to find files in the current directory?
Find.
Yeah, we use the find command, right? So in the find command, let me create another folder. So here, let's say I have a few files. So right now, this will all have the same modification time because I obviously cannot go in the past. But now, how do I list just the files and not the folders? So let's say here I have some folders also. So if you see, there are some files and some folders. So how do I use the find command to only list out the files in this directory?
Type
Yeah, type F, right?
Minus.
So, yeah, no, not minus, only F.
Yeah.
So this will give me only the files here. So now if I touch H/X, so then what will be the output of this? So will the X be shown in this output?
It should be shown because find dot minus type F will list all the files in the on the directory and the subdirectory.
Yeah, it will do recursively, right? So it will also list /H/X. Whereas here we are asking within the current directory. So I'm not sure if they want only in like one level or they want everything inside. So if we want only in the current directory, then we have to basically use which flag here. So how do I restrict a find to show only the current directory?
Dot.
So dot is basically like the place where it starts. So that is whether you give it or not, it will be the same. So, but how do I tell find?
I can
Basically,
tell the depth to be 1.
yes. So what is the flag for that? Is it depth? Anyone? It's not depth, right? So it is max depth. So I want to set the maximum depth it can go into to be 1. So then, sorry, I have to specified after type. Okay. So usually, like it will still work, but you should ideally first put max depth and then you should put type. So yeah, then you can see the minus. I mean, the H/X will not be there. Only this will be there. So now we are also asking print only those which are modified in the last 3 days. Right? So how do I set that condition so that the files which are only modified in the last 3 days are shown?
Can we use stat command?
You cannot use the stat command. So actually, I also don't remember. So let me see what is the flag for that. So
ARM.
ARM. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, so it is M time, right? So if you use the M time, then you can basically restrict which files to show. So if you give, let's say 3, then it means 3 days things which were files data was last modified less than, more than, or exactly 3 days. So if you do plus, then it means more than 3 days ago. Whereas if you do just 3, then it will be within 3 days. So let us try that. So if I do m time 3, I think this is still plus. So maybe minus 3. Yeah. So you can see files which were modified less than 3 days ago. So if I do plus 3, then it will be files modified more than 3 days ago. So let me actually show this in some folder where I have files. So here you can see if I do minus 3, then okay, there is no scripts that have changed in the last 3 days, maybe in the last 10 days. Yes, you can see I've only changed one script in the last 10 days. Similarly, in the last 20 days, I have changed these scripts. But if I do plus 20, then this will show all the scripts that I have changed more than 20 days ago. Right. So in our case, we now want this one. So we want minus 3. So we want to see all the files which is modified in the last 3 days. And then I want to delete them. So how can we now delete these files?
Exargs and delete.
Okay, yeah. So that is one option. We can actually pipe this to exargs. And then what is the command to delete?
RM.
RM, right? So we can do this and this will delete. But in find, we can directly also execute arbitrary commands on. So yeah, so there is actually, I think, 2 ways. So one, as you said, we can actually use the delete flag itself. It's there. Okay. So the delete option, 1 second, let me see if I can find it. Okay, yeah, so the delete option, which is a flag in it, so that will actually delete it. So you don't even have to do anything else. So you can directly give minus delete. So that will delete the files. So it will not print anything to the screen, but now you can see the files are now no longer there. Only the folders are there. So let me create the files again. So now again the files are there. So instead of delete, how can, so this will only delete the files. How can we also run any arbitrary command on find, like on the output of find, without using xargs? So there's a flag in find itself, which lets us execute any command we want on the output of find. Anyone? All right. So we can use the exec flag, right? So if after the exec flag, I tell it to run the command rm on each of the files. So the forward and backwards, sorry, the opening and closing braces basically is the placeholder for the name of the file. So we are telling it to run rm on all the files, and then we basically stop the exec by escaping a semicolon. So this will also basically delete all the files. So both of these are valid ways. So you can do it this way, you can do it this way, or you can also do it this way. So all of these are valid. So right now, because we don't have anything, so this is giving an error. So if I create it again, so now you can see if I remove it, so again you can see from 10 the total files came up down to 3. So all of these are valid ways to do it. So now let us see the options. So this is the option which we first saw. So find in the current directory. So here they have not used the max step. So here what they mean is basically all the files, not just in the current directory, but also in the subdirectories of the current directory. And if they are files, then delete them if they are modified in the last 3 days. So we're using the hash delete. So the second one you should never run. So this should. So what is the difference between the first and the second one?
It will delete everything in the home directory, right? So the root directory. Sorry.
Root, yeah, not even the home. So if you basically have the privilege or the permissions, this will delete everything and anything on your file system that is changed in the last 3 days. So this, if you are root and you run this, this will even corrupt your entire operating system. So not corrupt, it will delete your entire operating system, almost everything. So anything that is changed in the last 3 days. So you should never run this. Even if you are not root, this will delete all your files, because /home/your username also is a subdirectory of this. Right? And this will recursively find all your files and delete everything that is changed in the last 3 days. So this is a very dangerous command which you should never run. So the first one will do it only on the current directory, which is what we want. Similarly, third one will do it on the parent directory, which is also not what we want. And the fourth one will delete all the folders, which is also not what we want. We want to delete the files. So the type should be F. So hopefully this one is clear.
So Shant, the second option is only dangerous if we have used Ubuntu recently, right? Like if we haven't used it for a long time, it won't affect.
So even if you have not, so let's say you have not turned on your system at all for the last 3 days, still when you turn it on, it will make some changes to some configuration files, right? So as like whenever your system is turned on, some files will be modified. So those will still be removed. So if you're running this after 3 days and running it without the root privilege, then you can assume more or less nothing will be damaged. Maybe 1 or 2 configuration of your own user might be deleted. But yeah, if you're root, then it might also delete some important system files as well. So better to actually never play with the like deleting things globally. So that might be very risky. So even people who are used to working with Linux can sometimes make errors like that. So when you're using like delete or rm command, you should always be like careful and double check what you are deleting, because once you delete it, you cannot recover it. So it's not going to any recycle bin. It will be totally deleted. Obviously, you can still recover things from the hard disk. There are some methods, but then it's not directly possible. So you may have to use specialized software or send it to the hard disk company for them to recover it. So hopefully this is clear why the first option is correct. So let's move on to the next one. So here the question is, what is the command to exit without saving a file in Vim and Emacs? Right, so anyone?
It's a exclamation mark Q, right?
Use
Yeah, Q exclamation. So the exclamation is meaning forced. So anything you put before that, that will be forced. So the command is Q to quit, and Q exclamation is force quit. So even if you have edited a file, you want to exit it without saving. So colon Q exclamation. So the colon is also important. And for Emacs, I'm not sure. So let us see. Right? So for Vim, it is colon Q exclamation. And for Emacs, it will be control X, control C. So colon WQ will actually save and exit. So that is not what we want. We want without saving. So this will not work. And okay, so actually we'll have to know both the, so you have to know Vim and Emacs both. So here, as you can see, the Vim option is same, but the Emacs option is different. So it will not be control Z, it has to be control X, control C. And so hopefully this is clear. So let's move on.
Yeah, I would have assumed that it would be Control C. Like I would think that Control X would like doing two steps probably would like save it then quit it. Instead, if you just do Control C, probably it will just run.
No, in general, in terminal, whenever you press Control Z, it will actually put the process in the background, right? So usually you will not use Control Z as a shortcut. And also in Emacs, so although I'm not familiar with it, but in Emacs, basically you have always like 2 or 3 like combination shortcuts. So you always like press some like this, Control X or something, or Meta X, and then you press another combination. So usually in Emacs, you seldom get to see single combination. You'll always have 2 or 3 combinations. And so let's move to the next one. So here we have the question, consider a file emp_details.txt, which is having this format. So it's a CSV file. So it's not like a CSV extension, but the file is comma separated. And also the columns don't have any comma in them, and they are not quoted. So then the question is, what is the output of the command displayed below? So here we have awk begin OFS equals colon. So what is the OFS variable?
Output field
separator.
Yeah, output field separator. And then we are searching for all those lines that match this pattern of this regex, which is male. So here the M is capital, whereas in female, the M is lowercase. So that's why this will not match female. It will only match the male lines. So only for the male lines, we are doing is if NR is greater than equal to 3 and NR is lesser than equal to 5, then print NR comma $1. So what is the NR?
record
Number.
Yeah, row number or record number or line number. Right. So here we are only going to print for line number 1, 2, 3. So 3 and 4 and 5. So the third, fourth, and fifth. But out of that, only the fourth is male. So only the fourth line will be printed. So here also we are not printing everything, but NR comma $1. So NR will be 4, and what will be the value of $1?
the entire line, I suppose.
Yes, the entire line, right? So why is it the entire line?
Not entire line, right? There is a default space after in between
Okay.
the name, right?
Yes. Actually, yeah. Sorry. So yeah, we will only get till Manoj.
Manoj, yes.
Yeah, right. Because so why is that? Why are we not splitting?
In awk, default space is default separator.
Yes, space or tab. So any white space is the default separator. So here the $1 actually will take this field and also the first name of the second field. So $1 will be E1997001 comma Manoj. So it will print 4 comma this thing. So here, what will be the thing between NR and $1?
Colon.
Because we have set OFS to colon. So the answer will basically be 4 colon and then this thing E199, whatever it is, and then comma Manoj. Right, so let's see the options. So you can see this is the correct option. So we print the line number 4 and then colon instead of comma, and then till the first space that we encounter. Right, so hopefully this is clear. Now let's move on. So in this, we have considered the below command and output. So there is a slight mistake here. So there should be ls space L and not together. So the output of ls space L shows that there are 2 files in the current directory.
So what is the output of ls?
ls will only show the name of the files, whereas
Files
ls
and folders complete, right?
yeah, files and folders both. And
hidden files also.
no, hidden files will not be shown. Only
ls star.
ls star will also not show hidden files, because the star itself matches unhidden files. So for example, ls star will show the name of the file, whereas ls star will show the files. right now I have hij. So let me also create some files. Right. So here, if I do ls, so actually let me use the actual ls. So you can see it only prints the files and folders. So if I create, let's say, a hidden file, right? So dot hidden. So you can see if I does do ls, that is not shown. And if I do ls star also, still it is not shown, but all the folders are now expanded. So we get A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then H is expanded, I is expanded, J is expanded. So we get the files inside them, but we still don't get the hidden files. So only if we use the minus A or the minus capital A, we get the hidden file. So what is the difference between lowercase and uppercase A? Anyone?
Uppercase A will show the
All files, right?
So both are showing all files, hidden and unhidden, but the lowercase a will also show the dot and dot dot, which is the current
Yes.
and the patent directory, whereas uppercase will not show that. Right? And if we use minus L, then we get the long list.
Long listing.
So if you want the hidden also, then you can do AL. So you will now get the long listing of the hidden and the unhidden. So in
minus li.
Li will show you the inode number. So we'll get the inode numbers at the first column.
Okay.
Right. So hopefully this is clear. So here we have given the output of ls minus l. So in this folder we have two files, config.sh and start.sh, and there may or may not be hidden files, but that is not given. So only among the unhidden files we have these two files. So then our question is, which of the following commands will not overwrite the complete file? So the first is touch config.sh. So why will touch not overwrite the file? So what does the touch command do?
That will change the timestamp amount.
Yes, exactly. Right. So for example, here if I do touch XYZ, which does not exist, then it is creating the file XYZ. But if I, let's say, echo something into that, so if I add some text to that, so if the file is now existing, so if I do cat XYZ, so if I now do touch XYZ again, it will not actually override the file, but it will also not do nothing. It will just update the modified time. So basically that is what the name suggests. So this is just touching the file. So it's not doing anything to the file, just touching the file. So the modification time of the file gets updated to the current time. So still XYZ will contain the same content. Okay, so that's why touch config.sh will not override the file. So the next command is cat start.sh and redirect it to the config.sh. Right. So if we are redirecting with a single greater than symbol, then the file is totally overwritten by whatever we are redirecting. So basically config.sh will now contain the contents of start.sh. So that's why this is not a correct option, because this will override the total file. So the okay, so this I think is this might be a mistake. 1 second. Okay. Okay, yeah, this is not a mistake. So can you tell me why this is correct? So why catting start sh over config will override, but
we are
catting,
not doing anything to config, right? So it doesn't really matter.
Because
yeah, but it's asking that no files should be changed.
the start sh doesn't have write permissions.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So because we don't have the right permissions in it, even if I run this command, this will fail. So this will not be able to override the start.sh. So this is because we don't have the right permission for the user or anyone else. Okay, so hopefully this is clear. And the fourth is echo start.sh to the config.sh. So why is this one?
It will append, right?
Yeah, so this will only append, right? So it will not override the file. It will just append at the end. So it will, the file will be modified, but the original contents is not lost. We can still recover. Right? And the fifth is echo config. So this again, as we saw, will not do anything at all, because we cannot write at all to the start.sh file. So the last option will not do anything. So that's why this is fine. The second last option will do, but it will only append. So the file is not overwritten. So hopefully this is clear.
Yes, clear.
Okay.
Sir, can you repeat the last one?
Yeah. So last one is same as the, like, similar to the fourth one. So I mean the third one. So here basically we're trying to change the start.sh file, but we don't have the right permission to it, right?
Okay,
so
okay, got it, sir. Got it, sir.
we have r-x. So we cannot change it.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's move on to the next one. So here we have this awk script where we're doing nr equals fnr. So what is, so we saw nr is the line number. So what is fnr?
It's the current file record number. So current files record number.
Yeah, so the line number for that file. So when is nr equals fnr?
Same file.
Yeah, but like if I'm giving multiple files to awk,
Only
then
for file 1.
File 1.
only for file 1, right? So basically this states that if we are on the any line of the file 1, so then we are doing ARR $0 plus plus. So $0 is the entire line, and I'm basically just incrementing a count of it in a dictionary. So this will just store the count of each line present in the first file. And then here we are checking if nr does not equals fnr. So this will basically match for all other files other than file 1. So file 2, file 3, etc. if it's given. And we are also checking if the $0 does not exist in the array. So if for other files, if a line is there in the other file, but that is not in the dictionary, which means it is not in the first file, because only for the first file we have added each line in the dictionary. So then we print that line. So what is this script doing? Or which lines will be printed by the script?
Only present in file 2.
Yes, so lines present only in file 2 and not present in file 1.
File 1.
So lines, for example, which are present in file 1 but not in file 2, will they be printed?
Can you repeat?
So lines present in file 2 and not in file 1 will be printed. But let's say lines present in file 1 but not in file 2, will they be printed?
If we change the order file 1, file 2.
Yeah, then obviously yes. But, yeah, otherwise it will not be printed, right? So
Yes.
it will only print lines present in file 2 and not in file 1. So that is the answer. So prints the line in file 2 that are not present in file 1. So hopefully this is clear how we are accomplishing that.
The whole thing is pretty clear. Just could you clarify that nr equals to fnr? I'm a bit confused. I have not revised off.
Yeah, sure. So let's say, let me run this. So let's say I have two files, right? So a.txt, where I have some lines. Right, so I have 3 lines. So if you see, I have this line, and this empty line. And similarly, I have b.txt, which has just 2 lines, 1 and 2. So now if I do, if I use the cat and I do a.txt and b.txt, so this will simply print all the lines side by side, right? And if I use the cat -n, then it will print like it will number each line. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is not the line number of the file, but this is the total line number. So 1, 2, 3, and then it becomes 4 and 5. So this is same as how nr in awk work. So if I basically do awk, and then I simply ask it to print nr and the entire line, and I run it on a.txt and b.txt. So you can see it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will keep on increasing. Whereas if I ask it to print fnr, so fnr will reset at every new file. So for file 1, it is 1, 2, 3. And then when it goes into file 2, it again becomes 1. Right, so you can see the value of fnr and nr is only same for the first file, right? Because both are starting from 1. But as soon as the next file comes, fnr again becomes 1, but the nr keeps on increasing. Right, so fnr and nr are only same for the first file in awk. And hopefully this is clear.
I get nr and fnr, but you're saying that fnr is only same for the first file.
Yeah.
I
So you can see it here, right? So FNR is same as NR. So if you even think of it logically, NR will keep on increasing as many lines you have of as many files. Whereas FNR keeps on resetting, right? So if NR keeps on increasing, it can never go back to 1, right? So it will never coincide with FNR. Whereas FNR just keeps on like starting over from 1 again. So if I give multiple files here also, so you can see NR just simply keeps on increasing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it goes till 15. whereas FNR becomes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And so only for the first file it will match. Right, okay. So let's move to the next one. Right, so in this question, consider a file, my file, with the below contents. Welcome you all to the world. So, and the below command, substitute this with this. So select the output of the above said command. Consider that the system on which this command is run uses BRE. Right. So here, what are we doing in this said command?
We are grouping any three characters and then we are replacing them with any three characters.
Okay. Can you replace them with any three characters?
Yeah, we are replacing them by the same characters, I suppose.
Okay. Okay.
By the way, what does curly braces mean?
So the curly braces in regex means like you can give the number of occurrences. Right? So you can say bracket 2, which means that previous
Right.
pattern is repeated 2 times.
Right.
Yeah. So a few things wrong with that. So like with that answer. So any other answer? Anyone?
Sir, I remember you saying that in regular expressions, if we are doing search and replace, we can't replace with regular expression. It has to be a
Yes.
concrete character.
Yes, exactly. So what will be the replace? What will we replace it with? Okay, so any other comment on the search part at least, or on the replace part? Anyone?
I guess.
Your microphone is not like.
Yeah.
Well,
Is it
not
okay now?
Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we not have to escape the brackets?
Yes, exactly. Right. So if what happens if you don't escape the brackets in BRE?
It will match the brackets also.
Yeah, it will match a literal bracket, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are not grouping anything. We are actually matching a literal bracket. So that is the first thing you have to not fall for, basically. So here this is not grouping anything. This is matching a literal bracket. So this bracket and this bracket, or this bracket and this bracket. So literal brackets are matched. And so what are the three dots? That is, I think, clear with everyone. So 3 dots is just any 3 characters.
Any characters.
Yeah, it can be different also, same also, does not matter. And then what are we replacing that with?
Same characters.
Okay. So
Curly
just
braces.
now we are putting, okay, so that is correct. So we are putting the curly braces. So this is not any regex, this is the literal curly braces. And another thing you have to remember is that the replace cannot be any regex at all, right? So here dot does not mean any character, or it also does not mean the same character, which is also not possible. So here this means the literal dot symbol, right? So here what we are doing is we are substituting any 3 character that is enclosed by the literal round brackets with the curly brackets and then the literal dot symbols, right? So because we have
One query here. If we
yeah.
have to replace it with the literal dot, shouldn't we escape it?
So we have to escape it in regex, right? But
Okay.
when we are
This is stop
replacing, yeah, so
correctly.
this is not a regex at all. This is a
Yeah,
string.
correct. Okay.
So here the dot by default will mean the literal dot symbol. So here, let me just write all of them one by one. Just bear with me for a moment. So this is the literal contents of the file, my file. So then after the what will be the output? So the first line, what will be the output? Hopefully this is clear. So let me write the command also. Sed substitute bracket dot 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 bracket dot 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 my file. So what will be the output of the first line?
Curly braces, dot, 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 curly braces.
Okay, so yeah, it will be the same, right? Because it is not matching at all. So we don't have any round brackets in the first line. So the regex itself is not matched. So
Right, it starts from welcome.
yeah. This is the first line. Yeah. So here this will remain as it is. So this will be welcome. Yeah. So what will be the output for this? U.
It will be replaced by curly braces with 3 dots, literal dots.
Yes, exactly. So this will be the output. Okay, so now the third line, what will be the output for
Same
this?
thing, but with a backslash preceding it.
Yes, exactly. So this will be like this. And this next one, okay, so what will be the output? Same as the previous one, right? Yeah, so this is because even the backslash that we have here, that is nothing but a simple character, because we're just reading this literally line by line. So this is not treated as if this is escaping this bracket or something, because this is just a text file. So there is nothing like escaping in a text file. So this will also be treated as a character. So T, O, and backslash, these are the three characters which is matched by this regex. And then the closing bracket. So in this one, what will be the output?
Doesn't change.
Yes, exactly. So why does it not change?
There's 4 characters inside the brackets.
So we want to match two brackets
three.
with 3 characters, which is not there in here. So that's why nothing will change. And obviously, similarly, last one will also not change. So sorry for like the unwanted indentation, but yeah, so this will be the output for this. So then you can see the options. First one says nothing is changed at all, which is not correct. Second one says whatever we said right now. So welcome will remain as it is, world will remain as it is, and also the will remain as it is. And the middle 3 ones will be replaced just like this. So first one is this, and the other 2 have a / before it.
So, sir, can you repeat the same?
Which one?
Yeah, this one. Go to that PDF type of. Oh, sorry. Yes, this one. Output welcome wala part.
Yeah. So like, do you want to repeat all the lines? So the first line we are matching a bracket, so there is no bracket in it, right? So nothing is matched. So because nothing is matched, nothing is substituted. So it is printed as it is. So that is also the case for the last line. So we are trying to match a bracket which is not there. So it is printed as it is. Similarly, for this line, we are trying to match a bracket with 3 characters between it. Whereas here we have a bracket with 4 characters between it, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So here also the pattern is not matched. So it is printed as it is. And the other 3 lines here, we have 3 characters between 2 brackets. So that's why those 3 characters are replaced by this symbol. And the brackets also, they're replaced by this symbol. So here we also have a opening like left, backward slash here. So that is retained as it is. So sed will substitute wherever it finds the match.
3 characters.
Yeah, so bracket and then 3 character and then bracket close.
Okay. Now got it. Thanks a lot, sir.
Okay. So that is why we get this option. So the other options will obviously not be correct because this is the only output. So let's move to the next question. So here again, we have another file named my file. We want to merge every 2 consecutive lines starting from line 1 with a delimiter such as colon between the lines. Suppose the contents of my file are given below. So let me create such a file. So here we have my file where we have name, Divya, location, New Delhi, occupation, teacher, and education status as Master of Education. Right, so here if I want to basically merge every 2 lines with a colon in between them, so which command can we use to do that? Can we do it in sed? We've seen this like multiple times now, right? So how can we merge 2 like multiple lines together? So we also saw it in a previous paper.
Capital N.
Yeah, so we can use capital N to first read the next line, and then what do we do?
Replace the
Yeah.
/n with space.
So in this case, we want to replace it with colon. So here
Yeah, cool.
it will be colon. So if I do this on the my file, so then you can see this is the expected output, what we want. So similarly, can we do this in awk? So if I want to do it in awk, how will we do it? So it will be a bit trickier than this, but it is possible. So what can we do? So this is something that we have also gone over when we were discussing, like revising awk. So how can I, so what is the thing that I have to change so that the like one line comes after the another line, which variable to be changed? Okay, so we have
The record separator.
record separator, yes, but is it the input or the output record separator?
ORS.
ORS, right? So the output record separator, because the input records is always separated by new lines, but I want to separate my output records sometimes by new line and sometimes by colon, right? So if in the begin I set the ORS to always be colon, and yeah, and if I simply, let's say, print all the lines of my file, so this will obviously not work. So as you can see, everything is side by side. So how can I conditionally put the colon sometimes and not some other times? First of all, what is the condition? In what condition do I set the ORS to colon? And then in what condition do I set the ORS to be new line?
Every 2 lines, we put a new line.
Yeah, so how do I check that in like using the line number?
So all the odd numbers would be
Yes. Yes, so all the odd numbered lines. So how do I check if a number is even or odd?
NR equals to
NR mod to
Mod 2.
Yes, and mod 2 equals 1 will be the like the odd lines where we have to set the so what will be the ORS in that value in that case?
backslash.
No, for the odd lines, what
We
do
have
I want?
insert the colon.
Yeah, the colon, right? So for every odd line, after the odd line, I want a colon. So the ORS for that line should be a colon. And for the other lines, so basically NR mod 2 equals 0. So there I set the ORS to be backslash n. So now if I print all the lines, so now you can see we get the same output. Right, so for the odd lines, we have basically set the ORS to be colon, and for the even lines, I have set the ORS to be new line. Right, so we can also do it in a shorter way. So as if you remember, we also saw this when we were discussing op. We can use ternary here. So we can basically do the ORS and we can set it using a ternary. So I can say if NR mod 2, if it is non-zero, so then I set it to be colon, and otherwise I set it to be backslash n. So this is a bit harder to read because here we are using one colon is like a quoted colon, which is the value of ORS, and another is the syntax of ternary. So whatever is in between the question mark and the colon, that is the value if this is true, which is basically non-zero, and whatever is after this colon is the value if this is false. So if NR mod 2 is 0, then we set it to new line, and if it is 1, then we set it to the string, which is colon. So now if I type print, so now you can see we still get the same output. So this is one way of doing it in awk. This is also one way of doing it in awk. And this is how we do it in sed. And so now let's see what are the options given here. So this is the expected output. So the first one, we are using a while bash script. So we're doing while read line, and we are iterating over the lines of the my file. And here we are doing echo line colon, right? So what will this do? This will simply add colon after each line, right? So it will be name colon, new line, Divya colon, new line, location colon, new line, right? So because the new line is printed by default by echo, and also we are adding colon after all the ones, whereas we only want after the odd numbered lines, right? So the first one is not a correct option. So in the second one here, okay, so this is the second one, which is also not a correct option. So here what we are doing is we are using minus n. So here we are not printing the new lines, but it will print all of them in the same line, and it will have the colon after each field, right? So it will be name colon, Divya colon, location colon, new line. So this will be same as what we printed here. So this is what will be the output for this second option, which is also not something we want. So we want only for the even and odd to be changing. Right. So here you can see what we have done is we have done while true, and then done. So instead of doing while read line, we have a infinite loop that is basically getting the input from standard in, and we have used two read in the same loop. So read key line, read value line. Right? So we are reading two lines parallelly. So sorry, not parallelly, but sequentially. So we are reading the key line and the value line in the same iteration. So first we will read the key, which is name or location or occupation, and then we will read the value, which is Divya. And after reading two lines in one iteration, we are then seeing if the key line is empty or the value line is empty, then we are breaking. So why do we need the break here? Because we are using an infinite loop. So this will never basically give you a non-zero exit code, whereas the read gives you a non-zero exit code if there is no more line to read. But here it will keep on trying to read. So if we are reading more than the file's contents, it will give you an empty line. So here we are basically checking if it is empty, then we break. So we stop the loop. And otherwise, we simply print the value of key followed by colon and then followed by the value of value. So we can also try that. So if I do in script.sh, so here we are simply doing while true do, and I'm doing reading the key, and I'm doing let's say key val or whatever you want to call it, and then I'm reading the val, and then we are basically doing if the dollar key is equals empty, or the dollar val is equals empty, then we break. So that's what we're doing here. And otherwise, we are simply printing the key and then the value separated by a colon. And then finally, we iterate over this my file. So if I run this, we get the same output as the expected. So here we are basically reading two lines in one iteration itself. So that's why we can store them in different variables and then we can print them side by side. But here we also have to check if they are equal or not. Sorry, if they're non-empty or not.
Sir.
So yeah.
Yeah. So when we read two lines, so once I read a line, it won't be read again, or what? Because I thought that it would first read name, then Divya. Then in the second iteration, it would read Divya, then location. So
No.
that
So
won't happen.
no. So whenever a line is read, so that is consumed by the program, right? So this stdin is given line by line. So whenever something is read, so even when you're doing a normal loop this way, right? So how does this work? So while can run any command, and as long as it returns a zero exit code, this will keep on running. So the reason why this also reads one by one after each line is because after one line has been read, the next iteration will read the next line. So whenever some line has been read by the read command, so it will not be read again. So it will keep on moving. So we are reading the key, then we are reading the value. So next time it will again, so first name is read, then Divya is read. Then in the next iteration, it will read a location and new value. Right. And here, instead of checking if they're empty, we can also check if basically the dollar question mark is not equal to 0. So if the dollar question mark is not equal to 0, then we can break. So this we can also actually do it directly here. So I can say read key or break. So we can do it that just in the key because I'm assuming that we will always have even number of lines. So no one will give a malformed file, like let's say another thing is given like gender, but then nothing is given. So only odd lines are there. So if that does not happen, then we can just check once here. So if this is not giving us zero exit code, we will break here itself. So this will also work as we expect. So it will not go into an infinite loop, because this read, when we are after the 8th line, when it's trying to read another line, then it will give us non-zero exit code, and there itself we will stop the while loop. And so hopefully this is also clear. And similarly, we can also like put them together. So I can say read key, and only if that was successful, you read val, and if they were not successful, then you break. So this is even a more concise way of doing it. So this will also give you the correct option. And so hopefully this is clear. So if you're using scripting, then this is how we will do it. Whereas if we are using awk, then we will do it this way. And if we are using sed, then we will do it this way. Right, so hopefully this is clear. Let's move to the next one. So here why is the fourth one not correct? Because we are not breaking the loop, right? So it will keep on iterating. So we can also see here. So if I remove this, basically, if I remove this break, then you can see, so it will basically keep on printing master of education, right? So we should stop as soon as there is no more lines. So at the end of the line, because we are running a while true loop, infinite loop, we should actually break the loop also whenever the read gives a non-zero exit code. Okay, so that's why the last one will not work. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So in here we are given the man page of the tar command. So the tar command is used to create a tape archive, and we can give 0 or more options, and then we can give 0 or more files to tar. And if we are using the C command, then we are creating a tar, and if you are using the X command, then we are extracting from a tar. And the F command simply is to specify what is the name of the tar where it should be created or extracted from. Right. So usually when we are creating, we will do tar minus CF and then the name of the archive. Or when we are extracting, we will do tar minus XF with the name of the archive. And these are the options. So minus A will auto compress. So it will use archive suffix to determine the compression program. So for example, if I ask it to do tar compress, so C, and I do ACF. So here A will automatically see if I ask it to create, let's say, data or tar.gz, it will know I should do a gzip compression. Whereas if I do bz2, it will do a bzip2 compression. Or if I do zip, then it will do a zip compression. Whereas if I do minus z, then it will only use gzip. So even if I, let's say here, tell bz2, but here if I have given g, then it will still create a gzip and not a bzip. So then we are shown the state of the current working directory. So that is shown with ls minus l. And here we can see we have some files, and we also have this file which has a name which is the opening curly bracket. So because this is a special kind of symbol, it is also quoted here. So the name of the file is the opening curly bracket. And we also have a folder, two folders, current and prices. And we have some files, file1, file2, file3, input.txt and main.sh. So then we have select the command that will compress only the files file1, file2, and file3 to the file ar.gz. So here file1, file2, file3 are the only files that we want to compress. So here we have tar minus xf ar.gz file1, file2, file3. So why is this option not correct? Anyone? Or let's go through the command one by one. So what is the x and f doing?
X.
Expands, extracts, so it won't compress.
Yeah, so x means extract, whereas here we want to create. So x is not correct, right? So here we should use C to create. And if we use C, then will this option be correct? So tar minus CF ar.gz file1, file2, file3.
Yes, it should be correct.
Correct.
Okay, so if we use minus CF, then it will create a tape archive, but it will not compress anything, right? So a tar is not any compression, it will just put everything in a file. Whereas if you want to compress, so you can also see from the file name, we want a gz compression. So if you want to compress, then you have to either use minus z or minus a. So neither of which are there. So even if this was C, then also this would have been incorrect. So in the next one, you can see the option is correct. So I have told tar minus ACF. So A will automatically choose gzip compression because the file name is gz. And C will create a tar and not extract. And F gives the name of the file. But here, what is wrong then?
Star. All the files, right?
Yeah, so it will match all the files, whereas we want only file1, file2, file3. So then we have the third option, which is tar minus ZXF. So what is wrong in the third option?
X.
X, right? So again, here it is extract, whereas we want to create. So then the last option is correct, which is tar minus ZCF. So Z is always going to use gzip, and C means create, and F is giving the name of the file, which is ar.gz. And then instead of giving file 1, file 2, file 3, we are using the bash globbing, which is file star. So it will auto expand to file 1, file 2, file 3.
What is Z, sir?
Z means it will compress the archive using the gzip algorithm. So because we are asked to compress and not just create a tape archive, that's why we need Z or A.
Sir, can you explain the option 2 once more?
Yeah, so in the option 2, we are doing everything correctly, but the files we are using star, right? So star is a glob that will match every file. So all files and directories. So it will not just compress file 1, file 2, file 3, it will compress current, input, main, prices, this opening curly bracket also. Right, so we don't want that. We want to compress only the files, file 1, file 2, and file 3. That's why
What
we
is
should.
What is the difference between A and Z, sir?
So if you are using A, then it will automatically select the compression algorithm based on the file extension. So here we have gz. So A will also use gz. But if you had, let's say, .bzip2 or bz2, then A will use the bzip algorithm. Or if you had ar.zip, zip, then it will use the zip algorithm. So based on the extension of the file name, it will auto detect which algorithm to use. Whereas Z will always use the gzip algorithm. You can see it in this given help. So A or auto compress uses archive suffix to determine the compression program, whereas Z is filter the archive through gzip. So this will always use gzip. Okay, so hopefully this is clear. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So here we have a cron question again. So here the question is, which of the following commands will run the script on the first day of every month at 10 a.m. So let's open crontab guru again. And usually at first we will have star, 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 star. So what are the things that we want? We want it to be run at 10 a.m. Right. So what is the minute at 10 a.m.?
0.
0.
And what is the hour at 10 a.m.?
10.
10.
Yes. Okay. So then the day of the month. So we are asking to run on first day of every month. So what will be the value of the day of the month?
1.
1. Yes. And what will be the value of the star? Sorry,
It will be
what will
star,
be the,
right?
yeah, it will be star. So this is because star means, so we don't care about the months. For all months, this will work. And similarly, what will be the value of the day of the week?
Can you show the question again?
Yeah.
It's first
Star.
day of every month.
Every day.
It should be
First day of every.
star, right? First day.
First day means
First day of every month. So first Jan, first Feb, first March, like that. So this is the day of the month field where you mention the day, and this is the day of the week field where you mention like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, etc.
that star only.
Star only, right? Yeah. So because if you have star, then that means that this value is like this field is not used. So for anything that is matching. So if that is Monday, if that is Sunday, it doesn't matter. For any day, for any month, if it's the first and if the time is this, then it will run. Whereas here, if I set it to be, let's say 2 or something, so it will only run on those months whose first of that month is also a Tuesday. Right, so both of this has to match them. It has to be the first, and it also has to be the Tuesday. So it will not run on either Tuesday or the first. It will run only on those days, which is both the first of a month and also a Tuesday. Whereas if I put a star here, then this is not considered and this is not considered. So on any first of a month at 10 a.m., we are running this. Right, so that is.
So if we have a corollary to the question, right? So
Yeah.
we want to define a schedule which runs either on the first or it's a Tuesday. So then you'll have 2 lines, right? 0,
Yes.
10, 1 star star, or 0, 10, 1 star, then 2, right?
No. So we were close. So it will be 0, 10, 1 star star. And the next line will be 0, 10 star star 2.
2, correct.
Yeah. So this will then be star. So it will become star star. Sorry. This will become star star 2 for the next line.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that means if my first falls on a Tuesday, would my job run twice?
Okay. Yes, I think so. I'm not totally sure, but I think so. Yeah. If like it's a intersection, right? So if both the conditions are satisfied, then technically it should print it twice. But I'm not sure if cron is smart enough to see that it's the same thing and not repeat it 2 times. So what you can do is you can try running it, like give it some time and see if it's
Sure.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
So here, like in this case, the answer will be this 0, 10, 1, star, star. So that is the option in this one. So hopefully this is clear. So we're not using 22 because this is not PM. If this was PM, then it will be 22. Right, so let's move forward. So in this question, we are told consider a file named myfile located at /home/linda/myfile. The following commands are executed sequentially. So first we are doing ln home linda myfile, and we are doing it to home Meena myfile. Then we are doing ln home Meena myfile, home Abdul myfile. Then ln home Abdul myfile, home Arun myfile. And then home Arun myfile to home Sanjay myfile. So then the question is, assume all the directories in home have read and execute permissions for all the users. So like there will not be any like permission issues while running this. So assuming all these commands were run successfully, then select a command running which individually will make the link /home/Sanjay/myfile a broken link. So basically what does a broken link mean? That you will not be able to access that file. So if I have this, so first of all, what is being done by these 4 commands?
Hard link.
ln means link or hard link?
ln, so yeah, that's up to you to tell.
Hard link. Hard link.
Let's
Hard link is
link.
a hard link, right? So
Hard
if you
link.
want soft link, you have to use ln minus s.
Minus s.
So this is a hard link. So I'm creating a hard link from Linda to Meena, then Meena to Abdul, then Abdul to Arun, and Arun to Sanjay. Right. So is now the Sanjay file dependent on the Linda file?
So the inode of Linda will basically getting copied over multiple times. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. That is how we should see.
Yeah. So the neither of these files are dependent on each other. Right? So all of these are independent, and they all point to the same file. So now, if I want to make the Sanjay one broken, then will removing the Linda file have any effect on the Sanjay file?
All are independent, right?
Yes, all are independent. So if I remove the Linda my file, then the Sanjay my file will not be affected at all. So that's why the first option is not correct. So if you remove Linda my file, that will not make Sanjay my file a broken link. Right. So that's why the first option. Yeah.
I'm sorry for this question, but so ln file1 file2,
Yeah.
if I write this, then file1 will be made a hard link to file2 or the other way around?
No. So first of all, like in hard link, you cannot say hard link to something, because hard link is like a symmetric relation, or you can say like a brother sister relation. So both of them are hard link of each other. So the first one is the like source when we are creating it. So the first file will be taken, and that inode's hard link will be created with the path of the second one. So first one is the
Source?
file which already existing. Yeah. And
Okay.
the second one is one you want to create. But after creating, both of them are hard links to each other. So they are independent to each other.
Okay, right. Thanks.
Yeah. So basically, from Linda, we made Meena. Then from Meena, we made Abdul. Then Abdul to Arun, and Arun to Sanjay. So if I remove Linda, then Sanjay will not be affected, because it is hard link. Whereas if this was a soft link, so if all of these were -s, 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 then the first option would be correct. So if you remove any of these, if you remove Linda or Meena or Abdul, then Sanjay will also be broken, because it is just a soft link. So Sanjay will just be pointing to Arun, and Arun will just be pointing to Abdul, and Abdul will just be pointing to Meena, and Meena will just be pointing to Linda. So a break in the chain anywhere will cause Sanjay to be a broken link if it was a soft link. But because it's a hard link, so deleting any of them will not have any effect. So you can see the next option is deleting Meena, which is also not going to have any effect. And the third is basically same as deleting or moving Abdul. So that will also not have any effect because Sanjay is not dependent on Abdul at all. So whether you move it to another path also does not matter. And then you're basically changing the contents of Arun, which is also again independent of Sanjay. So like changing it will change the contents of the Sanjay as well because they're hard links. So if we are echoing last line to Arun my file, Sanjay my file will also have that last line at the end, but the link will not be broken. So the link is still established. So we have changed the contents of all the files because all the files are hard links, but you have not broken the link. And finally, because no other no option works, so none of these is the correct option in this.
And we can also have RM home Arun my file.
Yeah, so if you have RM Arun, that will also not do anything. And
Right.
if you have RM Sanjay, then that will, so technically like the link is totally deleted, or you can consider that as broken. So changing any other of the file or appending anything to the file or deleting the files, they will not have any effect. So here the option is none of these.
So in fact, what can we do to break a hard link? In fact, that would be
technically, like there is nothing called breaking of a hard link at all, right? So that is one of the things. So hard link, as long as the file like the file at that path exists, it will be able to access. And if you have like multiple hard links of a file, even if you delete one, you can still access that file from another. So only
The only way is to delete everything.
yeah,
everything,
yeah.
all
If you,
others.
yeah, if you delete all of them, then you will no longer be able to access that file.
So
that
in
file
this
will,
case, we have to remove Meena, Abdul, Arun, and the first one I forgot. It's not on the
yeah,
screen.
all of them. Yeah, even
Okay.
Sanjay.
Linda 1, Meena 2, Abdul 3, Arun 4. If I delete 4 of them,
yeah,
then also still it will be valid, right?
yeah, still Sanjay's file is
Still, because it is still referring to the inode. So
yes, only if you delete all 5 of them, you will not be able to access that file anymore.
okay, it's almost like deleting the file itself will remove the. That's, yeah, okay, cool. I think it's a good question.
Yeah, and in the other session, there basically there is -s. So in that case, the first, second, the third, all of these are correct options, because deleting anything or moving, like changing the path of anything, will basically break the chain of the soft link. So we'll also see that when we are doing that paper.
But I think the option 3 is actually more tricky. You are actually not removing; you are moving it to a. You are basically renaming the file.
Yeah, you're just changing the path. So even that will break the link, right? Because soft links depend on the path and not the actual file.
That's actually a tricky question.
Yeah. So let's move forward. So the next question is select all the correct statements with respect to RAID. So RAID, if you remember, is week 8, which is redundant arrays of independent disks. So here the questions are given these. So we were also told what RAID 1, RAID 4, RAID 6 does. So RAID 1 is basically the mirror copy, right? So if you have 2 disks or more disks, so the data is copied exactly as it is into each of the disks. And RAID 4 is a block level striping with a dedicated parity. So we discussed this when we were discussing week 8. So basically what RAID 4 does is each data is present in like the disk, and if you have a disk this way, so the data is present, and then so if you have, let's say, multiple disks also, so the data is first like broken into broken into blocks, and then some block is present in one disk, some block is present in another disk, and this way, like the blocks are distributed across all the disks, and always there is some space left for something called parity. So, for example, now, as you can see, let's say this is the data which has 6 blocks. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is, let's say, 4, and this is 5, and this is 6. So adjacent to those, there will also be a parity bit. So there will be a parity bit here, and similarly, there will be a parity bit here, and there will be a parity bit here. So the parity bits do not store any additional information. They simply store the XOR of all the bits of the other disks. So if I have, let's say, 100 disks also, so XOR of all the first bit of the 100 disks will be stored as the first bit of the parity block. Similarly, for all the bits. So the use case of parity is that even if one disk totally dies, you can basically reconstruct construct the data using the other disks and the parity. So if you again XOR everything with the parity, then you will basically get back the same data. So how that works is currently not required for this paper. So here, basically, because the data is then broken into parts, right? So one data is put into 3 disks. So instead of like fetching the entire file, so let's say I have the file which is like this, right? It has 6 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So instead of reading everything from one disk, because I can read it from 3 disks, I can actually read them parallelly. So I can read the like chunks 1, 2, and 3 at the same time, because each disk is independent of each other. So let's say if this disk is able to only be read at 1 Mbps, so I can actually read at the total of 3 Mbps, because I'm reading independent data from the 3 independent disks. So because of that, I can actually get a performance boost. So striping increases performance boost. So even if we are not doing parity, if we are just striping, that will also give a performance boost. So similarly, RAID 6 is also using striping, but instead of one parity, there are 2 parity blocks. So basically, let's say there are like 5 disks. So 4 of them will store some data, and 3 of them will store some data, and 4th and 5th will have parity. So it's not always 4th and 5th, it is also randomized, but always 2 disks will have parity. Right, so RAID 4 and RAID 6 both have striping this way, whereas in RAID 1, we simply have an exact copy. So both the disks contains exactly the same data. So when I am, let's say, reading a file, I can either read the file from this disk 1, or I can read from disk 2, but it doesn't make sense to read from both the files. So you can technically like still read one part from here and then another part from here, but you'll still have to index that part. So because RAID 1 is only meant for like mirroring, so that indexing is not directly done that way. So in RAID 1, you do not get the performance boost, you only get the data security. So here, the first option is RAID 1 can handle one disk failure without losing the data. So this is true because the data is copy of each other, right? So even if this entire disk dies or gets corrupted, the entire data is still present in the other disk. So that's why it can handle failure of one disk. But obviously, if both the disk dies, then your entire data is lost. So it cannot handle 2 disk like failure. Only one disk. If it fails, then it can handle it. And then the next option is RAID 4 can handle one disk failure without losing the data. So this is also true because here also, as you saw, we have parity here. So if one disk totally dies, I can still reconstruct everything of that disk using the other disk and the parity bits. So basically, if I do the block 2 and I XOR it with the parity, so let's say this is P1, this is P2, this is P3. So if I do the block 2 and XOR it with P1, then by the mathematics of XORing, because P1 was created by XORing 1 and 2, if I XOR 2 and P1, I will get 1 again. Similarly, so we don't actually need to get back P2. So because we can again get it from XORing 4 and 3. So basically 4 and 3 when XORed will give you P2. And similarly, if I XOR this 5 with P3, so this is the lost drive. If I XOR P3 with the 6, then I will get the 5. So you can see everything that was lost, 1, P2, 5, that can be regenerated by the other 2 disks. So if one disk is lost in RAID 4, so this is RAID 4. So in RAID 4, if one disk is lost, then the entire data can be regenerated. But obviously, if more than one, so if 2 disks are lost, in that case, you cannot get back your data because then the data is lost. So in RAID 4, if there is one disk failure, then RAID 4 can handle that. And the third option is RAID 6 can be deployed to achieve higher read speeds. So this is because, as we saw, RAID 4 or RAID 6, both of them, they use striping. So if the file, some parts is stored in one and then some parts is stored in another, so we can basically read parallelly from all of them, and we can actually get an improved speed. So that is also technically possible in RAID 1. But when we are writing, then we cannot do that, because when we are writing, then we have to write the same data on both the disks parallelly. So we will still be limited by the speed of each disk. So in RAID 4 and RAID 6, we can get actually a performance boost in both read and write, whereas in RAID 1, we cannot get a performance boost on the write speeds. So that's why the fourth option is incorrect in here. So hopefully this is clear.
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's move on to the next one. So here we have the question: select all files that are either a soft link or
excuse me. What is the difference between RAID 4 and 6, sir?
So in RAID 4 we have single parity, whereas in RAID 6 we have dual parity. Right. So RAID 6 uses 2 parity blocks, and RAID 4 uses a single parity block, and it also uses dedicated parity disk. So in RAID 4, let me draw it, or let me just show you the image. So if you search for RAID 4, you can see that it will always have only one disk where all the parity bits are stored, and it will, like, each block has just one parity. So only one disk failure can be survived. Whereas in RAID 6, two things. So first of all, the parities are now distributed across all the disks, and also there is no and there is two parities. So you can see A1, A2, A3, then AP, AQ. So there are two parity blocks for each block of a disk. Right, so that are the two differences between RAID 6 and RAID 4. But both of them are striped, so both of them can be used for performance enhancement.
So 60% of the disk is used for data storage and 40% for parity, right?
Yes, exactly.
So
and
RAID 6 can handle two disk collaboration.
Yes, RAID 6 can handle failure of two disks, maximum two disks.
Okay.
Right, so let's move to the next one. So select all files that are either a soft link or a hard link. If linked, these files are linked only with the files in the current working directory. So obviously they will not ask you if some file has a hard link somewhere else, which is not shown. So only find hard links present in the same folder or soft links present in the same folder. So in here, which one is the most obvious link?
The D, ROC.
Yeah. So DEC is a soft link, right? So here also you can see LRWX, and here also you can see the arrow symbol. So D is obviously a link, which is a soft link. But is any other file a link here?
So we just look at the inode number.
Yes.
We have 23, 23, 23. All the 23s are hard links. That's all.
Yes. So B, E, and F, right?
Yeah.
So here the options will be B, D, E, F. So C is not a hard link and A is not a hard link. So here also you can see, you cannot say that B is a hard link of E and F is a hard link of E, because there is no like parent-child relationship. So all of them are hard links of each other. So B, E, F, all three are hard links, and D is a soft link.
So soft link is marked like this.
Yes, this way, and we can see L here.
See, but here, right, in this question, so how are we telling that B is a soft link?
B is not a soft link, B is a hard link.
How are we telling that B is a hard link?
Because B and E and F has the same inode number, right?
So
no, sir, it's different, no?
Is it?
B is different.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the last two numbers are same, but then
Oh,
this is
523 and 823. Oh my God,
Yeah.
yes, correct. Good
So
one.
if you just saw the last two numbers, then you might think this is hard. Yeah, my mistake. Sorry. So only E and F are hard links of each other, and D is a soft link to C. So here the answer is D, E, F. So actually these two are same. Yeah, these two are totally same. And B, as you can see, there is one character which is different. So B is actually not a hard link.
So let's say that there is a file and you have got a link one which is connecting to that file, and you have got a link to which is also connecting to the another file. How are we supposed to identify that?
So soft link or hard link?
Hard link.
Hard link. Yeah. So basically, if you have two files which have the same inode numbers, right? So then they are hard links of each other. Similarly, if you have the other two files which have the same inode number, then they are also hard links of each other. So there is no something like A is a hard link of B. So you cannot say something like that for hard links. So hard links is a symmetric relation. So A and B are hard links of each other. So not in this case, obviously. So in this case, E and F are hard links of each other. So you cannot say which one was created first and which one was created after that. So that information is not there.
Okay, okay. I was assuming that since E will be created first and then F will be created second, F is the handling and E is the original file.
Yeah, no, so that is also like you can obviously create F first and E later also. And yeah, secondly, like you cannot say F is a hard link of E, even if E was created first, because after that hard link has been created, then both of them become hard links of each other. Right? Because there is nothing different about F, which is there in E. So both are exactly the same file. So like in softlink, you can see this is a different kind of file, but in hard link, everything is same. The inode number is same, the file size is same, the file type is same. So two files are always hard links of each other. So in this case, the answers will be D, E, and F. Right. So no other file is soft or hard link. Okay. So here I think this is mistakenly marked as B, right? Because you can see one number is different. So if this was same as this, so if this was 8, then B would also be correct. But in this case, it is D, E, and F. Right. So B is not a correct answer here. So hopefully this is clear. So let's move on to the next one. So here we have the below example shows how the brace expansion works. So if I do echo A comma B and then without a space, I give again A comma B. So it will take a combination of both. So it will be A B, then B A B B. Right? So you can see the output is this way. And if I basically substitute the space between them with new lines, then we will get them in each in a separate line. So then the question is, what will be the output of the following bash command? Enter only a number. So first we are doing this BB and with ABCD, and then we are doing the same thing. So we are putting everything in separate lines, and then we are doing sort, uniq, and WC minus L. So what does sort and uniq do? So if we use sort and then uniq,
so it will basically
it will sort the list and then it will remove the duplicates.
yeah, so uniq only removes adjacent duplicates, but sorting and uniquing will remove all the duplicates, right? So it will only have the unique lines. So if we basically expand this, then how many lines will we have?
8.
8 lines, right? So out of that, can you clearly see that 4 will be copies of each other?
Yeah.
Right, because yeah, this is B and this is also B, right? Yeah. So it will be B A B C D and then again B A B C D. So if I sort and unique it, there will only be one copy of each. So it will only be B A B C D. So yeah, then if we see the number of lines, then the answer will be 4. So you can also see the hints given here. What does sort and unique does? Right, so hopefully this is clear how we are getting 4.
So a trick question would be BCB, right? I put a C between both the B's, and I remove the sort option.
Okay, yeah. So if you do that, so I think you are trying to give other papers than the current papers itself. So if you do this BCB and then if you do, let's say, ABCD, so basically you will have 12 values. So then if you do substitute the space with a new line, so then you will have this way, and like BA, BB, BC, BD will be there, and similarly BA, BB, BC, BD will be there, and in between we have CA, CB, CC, CD. So if you now do just unique, then basically nothing will be removed.
Correct.
Right? So then it will still have 12 only, because the duplicates are not adjacent to each other. So only if you give a sort here, then will it first be adjacent. So now all the duplicates BA and BA will be adjacent, BB, BB will be adjacent. So then if you do unique, then you
but
can take
other questions would be, if it is BBC, then if you don't give sort, it will give you this answer, correct answer.
If you have
BBC.
No, still no, right? Because it will be BA, BB, BC, BD, and then BA, BB, BC, BD. So still the duplicates will not be adjacent.
But if it is in the second one, instead of crossing BBC with ABCD, we cross ABCD with BBC.
Yeah, in that case, you will have that. So here, if I have BBC, so now we have AB, AB, so it's adjacent. So now even if I don't do the sort, if I do unique and then WC minus L, I will get 8. So I'll only get the A, B, C, D into BC, right? So 4 into 2, 8. But here, if this is BCB, so in that case, if I don't do the sort, so if all the duplicates are not like around each other, so then we will get 12 and not, why is it 12 and not 14? Still, there is some duplicates around each other. AB, AC, AB, BB, BC, BB,
So
CB,
because
CC.
you have to do BBC, not BCB. That's why. If you
Yeah, if you do BBC, then you will obviously like get it consecutively.
Right.
But so here we are getting, okay, we have 12 only. Okay, yeah, my bad.
you have to do sort
No,
unique.
no, my multiplication was not working for a second. Sorry for that. Yeah, so if you basically just do unique and WCL, then you can see all the ones are like the duplicates are not consecutive, so you get them separately. And only if you do sort, then you basically will get only the unique ones. Right, so hopefully this is clear, and like this is clear why we are getting here 4.
The exam exact same question will not come. It will be some permutation combination, right? So that's why we're focusing.
Yeah, exactly. So
Evaluations.
same PYQ will not come, but in the similar pattern it may come. So let's move on to the next one. So here we have how many sleep processes are active at the end of the execution of the for loop. I think we have had this in some quiz 1 or quiz 2 paper. Right, so what we are doing is for I in 1 to 11, do sleep 100 in the background. Right, so ampersand means we are running a process in the background. So it will not basically like block the next line till it is finished. It will keep on executing in the background, and we also start executing the next command. So here then we are checking if I mod 2. So if I is a multiple of 2, then we are running kill percentage. So what does kill percentage do? It is mentioned here, right? So kill percentage will kill the last job. So whatever job was like created just before it. So obviously the job that was run just before this. So if I mod 2, then we will kill that. So we are running from 1 to 11. So 1 to 11, obviously there are 11 numbers. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, exactly. So these are the 11 numbers, and here you can see 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11 are the odd numbers, right? So how many odd numbers do we have? 6. And similarly, how many even numbers do we have? 5, right? So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We have 5 even numbers and 6 odd numbers. So here, in what condition will this kill be executed if the number is even or odd?
So if it is even, it kills the previous odd job.
No, it is killing the like same iteration only, right? So if I am running something and in that iteration,
in that iteration it won't kill, right? So when you're running sleep, sleep one first initiate will run, the second one also will get started, and then when I is to, then that one get right? The first instance will get killed.
No, so kill percentage will always kill whatever was launched the most recent. So it will always, if it is run, it will always kill the sleep that was run in that for loop itself. So that is the most recently run job. But
So
for what values of I will this be run? So for even or for odd?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Even 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Yes. So for the even numbers, right? Because I mod 2 will give 0, and in bash 0 is basically the time when this will execute. So if I mod 2 is 0, that means when it is even, then I will basically kill a command. So in total, we are running 11 sleep commands, and for the 5 even numbers, we are killing the sleep. So the answer will basically be 11 minus 5, which is 6. So we will be left with 6 sleep processes that will be running after this for loop is over. Okay, hopefully this makes sense. So let's move to the next one.
In this question, right, how many are active, right? That's the question, right?
Sorry? Yeah, how many are active? So how many sleep processes are active at the end of the execution?
Okay,
so we
okay.
get 5 out of 11, so 6 are active.
Oh, yeah, yes, your question was or. There was another question which I saw today morning. I got confused with that. Instead and kill, instead of that it was or kill. So,
Yeah, I think that is the other session paper, right? So we'll take it up. So if instead of and if it's or, then what will be the difference?
Everything will get killed.
No, right? So that is a short circuit or. So if this is true, then this part will not be run. If this is false, only then this part will be run.
So odd will be killed.
No,
Kill won't work.
no. Why will kill not work?
For
So we are
even
telling,
numbers, this is work, right?
yeah. So for in this, we are killing all the even numbered sleeps. So if instead of and if we have or, then what will happen?
Only one
5
command will get.
processors.
Yeah. So basically, this one is giving us.
Odd numbers will kill.
Yeah, so for the odd numbers. So for odd numbers, this one will have non-zero. So only then the kill will be run. And
Yes.
if this is even, then the kill will not be run. So then it will kill for all the odd numbers. So it will kill 6 times. So we'll have 11 minus 6, which is 5 active jobs.
So can you just summarize this concept of 1 ampersand and 2 ampersands?
So 1 ampersand means you're putting the process in background. Right? So you're running this in background. Whereas this 2 ampersand means if this one was successful, then only we are running the second command. So if command 1 is successful, then run command 2. And if command 1 is not successful, then you don't run command 2. So that is what double ampersand does. And double pipe will do the opposite. So if command 1 is successful, don't run command 2. If command 1 is not successful, then run command 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's
So
move on.
interesting variation will be instead of 100, which is constant, we put it like something called like a 2 times I in the background.
Yeah.
Then it sleeps for I, then it does the command. So, and then the question could be how many are active at the end of the loop?
Okay. Yeah. So without giving it in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you'll have to. So then always like the kill will like we will go into the next command after the first one is done. So all the sleeps would have finished. So at the
Correct.
end, the answer will always be 0 because you're only killing after the sleep. So even if you're not killing, the sleep has been over.
But all the second half of the array, let's say it's 1 to 100, once you cross the median, then they are still running. Only in the first step, any number before the median will be over. But after that, it will be still running. All the even jobs. I mean, odd jobs.
So if you have the ampersand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't have the ampersand, then
Yeah. Then
yeah,
it's sequential, basically. There's
yeah.
nothing
And
bad.
if you have the ampersand, then this is totally instantaneous, right? So even if like you give sleep 0.1, still the entire loop might finish before 0.1 seconds.
Correct.
So yeah. So basically, you're in a perplexity. If you don't give the ampersand, then the next command only runs when the previous command has finished. So always at the end, there will be no command running. And if you give an ampersand, then you basically cannot say that my loop will be faster than the sleep itself. Right? Because the loop in general will run very fast. So even if you have sleep 1, then also it will like all the iterations will be finished before 1 seconds have elapsed.
Yeah. And the other trick question would be the job will print a number. So it will be sleep and then print a number. Like if we have a
Yeah.
subroutine, and then it will
Yeah.
be interesting. So what order in which the text will be printed, right? So
Yeah, like we saw in the previous paper.
yes.
Yeah. That would be more interesting.
Yeah.
So in the next question, we have the file input.txt has a list of dates in MM-DD-YYYY format. Which of the following commands can be used to convert it into YYYY MM-DD? Right. So let's also try this ourselves. So we basically have a date.txt, or let's say this is input.txt. So here we have in the MM-DD-YYY, right? So 0502 1995, and then let's say so this is mm, so 12 and then 25 2005, something like this. Right, so let me just add a few more dates. So let's say we have these 3 dates. So how can we then use sed to make this in a YYYY colon MM:DD? This is a very simple substitution question, right? So but
You would
how
have
do we
to,
do?
right? I guess
Sorry?
you would have to group things.
Yes, yes. So what will be the like?
So group will be two alpha numerics,
0 to 9.
0 to 9 in square bracket,
Okay.
0 to 9, curly bracket
Curly
twice,
brackets 2.
yeah,
Yes.
open bracket close,
Hyphen.
Okay.
then
Hyphen.
hyphen,
0 to
then
9.
repeat, same thing repeats twice,
Okay.
and then same thing repeats 4
0
times.
to 9.
Times 4.
Okay.
4 times.
Now the fun comes.
Okay. Now we will replace with
Backslash 3,
3.
plus 3. Then
colon,
Colon.
yes.
backslash 1,
Backslash 1. Yes.
Colon.
Colon. Backslash
Backslash
2. Okay. So is this correct or are we missing something?
G.
Okay. If you have multiple in a same line, then G is required. Anything else?
Minus N.
Minus n. No, that should not be there. If you have minus n, it will not print anything.
So all the minuses also have to be replaced, right?
Yeah. So we are anyway not grouping
Oh,
the
we're
minuses, so
keeping
that
the
is fine.
minus.
Yeah. So we're missing a very important thing without which
We
this
are
will
using
not.
BRE or
Yes, we are
different
using
Yeah,
BRE
yeah,
by
minus,
E.
yes.
So either
Minus
you
E.
need minus e or you have to escape the round and the curly brackets.
Yes.
So
I think
now,
E is
yeah, that is easier. So now you will get it in the correct. So 1955-05-02. So that is the solution, and let us also see the BRE solution for completeness sake. So we basically escape.
escape all the curly brackets and open brackets, but not the
Yes.
square bracket.
Yes. Yeah, that should be it. Yeah. So that is the BRE solution and that is the ERE solution. So let us, so hopefully this is clear why the order is 3, 1, 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So let us see the solutions. So as you can see, these are BRE solutions, right? So you should be familiar with which things to escape in BRE. Even if while writing you prefer ERE, you should still be aware what the BRE solution will look like. So in this, here we have not escaped the curly brackets, so this is wrong. In this, what have we done wrong? So the order is wrong, right? So it is, the order is 2, 3, 1, which is not correct. And the third one, everything is correct. We have escaped round brackets and curly brackets, and the order is 3, 1, 2. And the last one again, we have not escaped curly brackets, and the order is also wrong. And so the order has to be correct, and the escaping has to be there. Only then this will be correct.
What is the order, sir?
3, 1, 2.
No, how you are determining the order?
So we want YYMMDD, and it is present in MM-DD-YY. So what is the first thing we are getting? The third thing, right?
Okay, okay.
Then the second thing is the first thing, and the third thing is the second thing. So 3, 1, 2.
Okay.
Here, basically, option 1 and 3 are viable choices because we can eliminate option 2 and 4 straight away.
Yeah, because the order is itself
Right.
incorrect.
And then the only thing it's matter of seeing what is escape versus
Escaping.
not.
Yeah.
Right, that's all.
Yeah. So let's move to the next one. So in this, we are shown the like output of IP ADDR, which will show you the IP address of your, like the local IP address of your system. So from this, we are told consider the above command output, which of the following dash commands will give the output as below. So we just want this MAC address. So it is present here, 0242 AC 120053. So I want to match MAC address, but I only want to match this MAC address. So I don't want to match the other FFFFF broadcast MAC address. I only want to match this MAC address. So how do I?
So we have to search for that link ether, right? And then followed by.
Yeah, so that is one thing we can do. So because there is other MAC address here as well, right? So we have here also. So only for link ether, or we can say not for link loopback. So and then we match this pattern, right? So the what is the pattern which will match for MAC address?
I think hexadigit, hex digit.
Yes, let me create mac.txt. So let's say I have how many groups will be there in a Mac? 1, 2, 3, 6. Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So is this a valid Mac address?
No, GF is not there.
Yes. So it cannot be G. So it has to basically be between A to F. So 0 to 9 or A to F. So now how do we match a MAC address?
A to F means hexadecimal digits,
Yes,
right?
yes, hexadecimal digits. So how do we match that in grep?
It's double square bracket, within that colon hex digit.
It won't be hex digit, it will be X digit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, if you do that, then you have to also mention like 2 times. So you can say
2 times.
2. Let us use ERE. So you can say this is present 2 times, and then this this is followed by a colon, and this entire thing is then grouped and present 5 times, and then again we have X digit
Once.
present 2 times. Yeah. So this group is present once. Yeah. So this is clear, right? So we are getting 5 colons, and then last one is without a colon. Yeah. So this will then match it correctly.
Right.
So a few variations is obviously possible. So instead of giving the group, you can write the same thing 5 times. So that is, it will be tedious but correct. And similarly, instead of giving 2, you can also write it also 2 times. So you can write X digit. That will also match.
So, or you can do 0 to 9 and then
Yes.
A to F. That's also another instead of X.
Yes. So instead of this, what you can do is you can do 0 to 9, A to F, A to F. If you are considering both lowercase and uppercase.
Yeah.
So both will work. So this you can add here also. So both of these are valid regex for matching hexadecimal. So if you want to print only that line, right? So if you have something else, then if I do this, it will print that here. So I need -O to only print the match. So that is also given as a hint. So then you can see the first option is IP ADDR, and then grep any character like in that format. And so multiple reasons this will not work. First of all, this is matching any character, not just hexadecimal. Although in this output, you may not have any thing which follows that pattern, but is not a like hexadecimal. But it will also print the 0000, right, which is not what we want. We only want to print this one. So the first one is not correct. So in the second one, what we are doing is we are using sed -n. So it will not print anything. And then it is searching for ether, and it is P. So it is printing only those lines that has ether. So which lines here have ether? Only this line, right? Is there ether in any other line? No. Just let me know if it is there. I can only see it in this line where we are getting this one. So other lines we have X0, but we don't have ether. So when we are searching for ether, we only get this one line. And then what we're doing is we are searching for this pattern. So in this line, there is only these two, the first and second one, which will match this pattern. So the first one, which is what we want, and the second one, which is the broadcast address, which is FFFFF. So then what happens when we use -O is the multiple matches will be printed on separate lines. Right? So you can also see if I have this, and here if I paste it, sorry, not this. So if I have this and I paste this in the same line, so you can see without the -O, it will simply print that line once. But if you have -O, then it will print both the matches on separate lines. Right. So similarly, if let's say this second one was the FF, 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 FF. So then doing this will print both these. So how can I now get only the first line? So like out of like from a given output which has 2 lines, how can I get only the first line?
Head -1.
Yes.
Minus
So
and -1. Sorry.
Yeah, we can use head -1, or we can use head -1. Both are correct. So it will only give you the first line. Right. So that is what is being done here. So first we run IP-ADDR, we get the output. Then we get only that line that has ether, so which is only the line that has both these MACs. And then we do grep O with this pattern, so it will print both the MAC addresses. And then we do head one to only get the first one. So this is clear why the second option is correct. And now let's see the third option. So we do IP-ADDR, and then we are substituting the start of a line followed by one or more space with nothing. So we are simply removing the space at the start of the line. So this is removing all the spaces at the start of the line. So here you can see in this line, we have a few spaces at first. So we don't know how many, but there are more than one spaces. And if we do cut by space, then we cannot tell which field it is, right? So if I simply do cut by the field separator, which is space, I don't know which is the field this one and which is the field this one, because there are a lot of spaces. So this command you can also see in the help here. So this will delete all spaces at the start of every line. So if we delete all these spaces at the start of the line, then we can know that if we are splitting by space, now this link ether will be first field, this MAC will be the second field, BRD is third, this broadcast MAC is fourth field, etc. So I can then cut this line by space and only print the second field. So that is what is being done here. So we are first removing these spaces at first. We are grepping with ether, and on only that line, we are then cutting with space and printing the second field. So we get only that MAC address. Right? Hopefully this is clear. And why is the fourth option not correct?
So it will take a line containing the ether, and it has already cut the F2. So basically, that it could have already picked up the line which has a valid IPv6 but not Ethernet. Like the loopback 00 will also be picked.
Yeah. So once you have already cut, the ether is no longer part of the output itself.
Correct.
So you cannot grep ether. So the grep will basically give nothing. The output will be empty. So first you have to grep and then you have to cut. Let's hopefully this is clear why. So just give me 1 minute. I will be back.
Oh, change Vera. Okay. Huh? ಯಾರನ್ನೇ ಸರಿ ಐದರತೆಯ
Yeah, so hopefully I'm audible again. Yeah, so
So
hopefully
I just logged into our VM.
Yeah.
When I run IP address, actually it looks like it is linked to two routers. I get ETH0 as well as ETH1. So technically, there are two link ethers. Even
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
same.
So yeah, that is possible. If you have multiple, if you like have multiple Ethernet ports, or maybe you can use the USB also. So you can be connected to multiple things. But usually, what happens is this is a VM, so this does not have like a physical Ethernet port, but it can be directly digitally connected to as many networks as you want. So this is.
I just wanted to highlight, so that way at least we get two addresses. If you are searching for Ether, you'll actually get two IPv6.
Yes, and then when you do the grep minus O, there will be 4 lines, and then if you do the head one, you will only get the first one. You will not get the second one.
Correct. So technically, you'll get maybe the right answer is search for ETH0.
So here, because the output is given, so it will match here.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. I think here the output is given, but just for information.
Yeah. Or if you're using the second option, which is cut, then it will print for both correctly.
Correct,
Right.
correct.
Yeah.
That's what actually I tried. So that's
Yeah.
what I did.
And if in here, if you are, let's say, basically, let me use tr minus s for space. So then if I do cut minus f space, sorry, cut minus d space, and the field is 3, so I will get this, and we have to obviously grep for ether. Sorry. So then I will get both of them. Right. So if you're using this method, then we can retain this. Or another thing we can do is, if we are using the previous method, we can keep only the odd numbered lines and remove all the even numbered lines. So that will also give you both the MAC addresses.
Right, right.
So hopefully this is clear. So let's move on to the next one. So here we have the below commands that are already run in the current working directory. So you have run ls minus l, so you get output script 1, script 2, script 3, whereas script 2 is executable, script 1 and script 3 are not executable. So then you show the path, so the path variable. So there you have all these places. And then you are running this chmod 777 on script 3. So now this is executable. So if you see, earlier it was not executable, but now I have made 777. So it will be rwx, rwx, rwx. And then I'm moving script 3 into the /home/commands. And then I am doing chmod 777 on script 1 as well. And I am copying that script 1 into /home/bin. So then the question is, which of the following commands will run successfully on the terminal under the current directory and return exit code 0? So now notice that home command and home bin, okay, not home bin. So home commands is a folder that is part of the path. So if you see in the path, home commands is there. But home bin is not a folder that is part of the path. So if you obviously, because now all of them are executable, if you run /script1, it will run. If you run /script2, it will run. If you run /script3, it will run. But the script 3, sorry, /script3 will not run because it is no longer in the current directory. Yes, it has been moved. But because the script 3 has been moved into the home/commands, which is part of the path, so if you run just script3.sh, then also it will work, because if a script is in the path, so then you can directly write the name of that and it will be run. So that is exactly how any command runs. So whenever you're writing any command like cp, cd, etc., because it's part of the path. So my path is a little bit bigger, but because if it's present in any of the folders in the path, then it will basically run that. So let us also see that. So if I here create 3 scripts, right? So I have a script called script1.sh. So here, let me simply print script1, and let me copy that script1 to script2, and let me copy script2 to script3, and let me edit script2.sh to make it script2, and let me edit script3.sh to make it script3. So now you can see we have 3 scripts, and none of them has execute. So let me also give them execute. So we can use 777 to basically make it rwx, rwx, rwx. And now if I run /script1, it will print script1. If I run /script2, it will run script2. It will print script2. And if I run /script3, it will print script3. So now if I move, let's say, script3 into a folder which is part of my path. So let me move it to my /scripts folder. So this is obviously not there in this question, but here we have home commands, which is a folder in the path, and I have this folder in my path. So you can move it to any folder which is there in your path. And similarly, let me copy the script2 into some folder which is not there in my path. So let's say the downloads folder. So now you can see I only have script 1 and script 2 because script 3 I moved, whereas script 2 I just copied. So now if I run script 1 this way, it will obviously still work. If I run script 2 this way, this will obviously still work. But if I run script3, which is not present in the current directory, so /script3 will not work because there is no script3 in the dot or the current folder. But now if I simply run script1.sh, what will be the output?
So it is in the local directory?
Yeah, it is in the current working directory.
It still won't run, right? Because it's not in the path.
Yes, because it's not in the path, you cannot run a script just by its name, even if it's in the CWD. So it will give you command not found. And what will happen if I do script2.sh? So it's there in the current directory and also there in the downloads folder. But the downloads folder is not there in path.
Yeah, still won't run.
Still won't run, right? So no command found. But if I do script3.sh, then you can see it will print script3. So this is because this is present in the my scripts folder, which is present in my path. So if you see my path and if I grep for scripts, so you can see the homes and then my username and then scripts. This is part of my path and for some reason present 4 times, but it is part of my path. So if I am running the script3 just without the dot slash, it will search for that in my any folder in my path and it will run that. So that's why you can run ./script1 ./script2 and you can run script3, but not ./script3. Right. So you can see here we can run script3.sh and it will run successfully, but you cannot run script1. And so why is script1? Okay, yeah. So we have not made. Okay, we have made script1 as executable, and we have copied it to home bin. So why is this? So this most probably the option is incorrect. So this should also be correct. So ./script1.sh should also run because even though it was not executable first, we have made it executable with chmod 777 and we have simply copied it. So the original file still remains. So ./ should still work. So I'll get back to you on this one. Most probably this is marked incorrectly. So similarly, ./script2 will also work because it is also present in the current directory and is executable. And bash script3 will not work. So why is this the case?
Script2 was moved, I guess, right?
Yeah, so it is not there in the current directory at all. So that's why it will not work. And bash script1 will work because the script1 is present in the current directory. So even if something is not having the what do you say, the permission, it can still be run using the
Can
bash.
we also do source script1.sh?
Yeah, that is also fine. That will also
The
work.
current cell, right? That
Yeah.
also goes.
Yeah. So hopefully this is clear. Let's move on to the next one. So here we have a question. Consider some pattern matching criteria such as should not contain anything except digits on the line. Should not contain anything except digits on the line. Should match AA, AA, AA or AA, but not AA, AA or AA. So basically you get what I'm saying. Should match any word of 2 characters of which one is a digit and no restriction on the other character. And the line should not start with the digit 0 and should end with the character dot. So select the regex from the below which match according to at least one criteria above correctly. The regex will below are written to be run with grep. So basically it is ERE. So it will be using extended regex. So what is the regex for each of them? So let me have this maybe side by side. So you can see. So the first condition is should not contain anything except digits on the line. So how do we write a regex for that?
Square brackets, digits, and plus.
Minus V.
So minus V,
0 to 9. Yeah.
Minus V.
Okay.
No. So the question is should not contain anything except digits.
Oh, okay.
Can we just add a plus there so it will just
Plus, yeah.
digits?
Yes. Okay. So will this work?
It will not work because we have to eliminate all the alphabets, everything, right?
We need to add the word caret and the
Yes.
end of the line symbol.
Yes.
Caret and dollar.
Yes. Then it will work. So let me actually create a file so that we can test this. So let me have a line with numbers, then a line with numbers and then some text, maybe a line with numbers and text inside. What are the other things? Should match AA, should match AA, AA or AA, but not AAA or AAA or AAA. And should match any word of two characters, which the one is a digit and no restriction on the other. So let's say 6E or G7, or let's say a symbol like quotation 8, or maybe 2 and then another square bracket. So these are some things that should match, and let's say this should not match, or sorry, this should not match. And again, another one which we have is the line should not start with the digit 0 and should end with the character dot. So if we have something like this, then this is matching. Whereas if we have something like this, then this is not matching. And similarly, this is also not matching. So yeah, so if we have this grep E starts with digit more than once and ends end of line. So if I run this, then we will only get those numbers which or those lines which contain only digits. So should not contain anything except digits. So this is how we match the first one. So next, how do we match? Should match AA, or AA, but not anything else.
So we just give 4 patterns in a square bracket, A, pipe, A, like that. Right?
Okay, yeah. So that
No, it is.
that
I
will
think
not
it
work.
is. I think it is alphabets, small letter and capital letter. Only 2 consecutive alphabets. It should not be 3 consecutive alphabets.
Okay.
The same. See, it can be AA, or AA, but
Yeah.
again, BB is fine. BB is also fine, but not
Got
triple
it.
B.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not sure if like this is told as like a generic for all alphabets, or only A should be matching.
We should.
But basically, this is telling that if there is 3 A's, then it should not match. Right. So if you just do this AA, then the AA will also match a substring of the 3 AA's. Right. So it should only match. So let's assume this is not right now talking
Word
about.
boundary both before and after.
Yeah, so if you have word boundary or line boundary, so I think word boundary is enough for this one.
Backslash
So
B.
yeah, then if you do, so then you can group it basically, and you can say either AA or AA or AA or AA. So what is a easier way to do this than this? So this is one of the.
No, I don't think so. This is. I don't think so. This is correct. So because let's say if the word is B A A B or C A A C, that also should come back. Come as this one. If you do a
Okay.
word boundary, B A A won't come, right?
Okay, okay, yeah. If you want that, then how can we do that without word boundary?
Minus
The
A.
count of word open bracket 2.
Sorry.
In the open curly braces, small curly braces 2. So grouping
Okay,
of 2. Yeah,
like this.
something along those lines. Yeah.
Okay, no, this will not prevent that. So what you basically need to do, if you let's say what you want is you don't want to match AAA, but you do want to match BAAB, right? So right now what we were doing will, sorry, not this. What we were doing will so if we don't have the word boundary, it will match that. But if we have the word boundary, then it will not match that. But if you want to match that as well, so what you have to do is you have to surround that with any character that is not A or A. Right? So on the left and on the right. So then you will get basically this. This can be actually present 0 or more times. You can give a star here. So then you will get all the these ones, but you will also get BAAB. And here you will then also get this because both like these will be matched separately. This is one match and then this is another match. So let us see the options, which one matches for this. And so what will be how the pattern for the third one? So should match any word of two characters of which one. Okay, and before that, so how do we do this in a more simpler way. So if let's say for now I just want word boundary, so instead of listing out all the 4 ones, how can I reduce
Curly
this?
braces AA, curly braces AA. So it will brace expansion, I guess.
No,
Okay, so
square brackets
square,
here.
yeah, square bracket. So not curly, but you have to use square bracket, capital A, small a,
Yes,
and
small
then
a cap.
yeah, this way. So the first one will match either capital or small. The second one will match either capital or small. So basically, the permutation and combination will give you all of these 4. So this will also match all those 4. So let's see the third one. So should match any word of 2 characters, of which one is a digit and no restriction on the other character. So how do we do this? Any word. So here, obviously, we need the word boundary, or you can use minus W here. So how do we match any word of 2 characters, of which one is a digit and another there is no restriction?
Uh,
Either the
square
first character
brackets,
can be the digit.
dot, and then dot digit.
Yeah, right. So you can do 0 to 9 to get a digit and then dot. And then you can use the pipe to give the another regex, which is dot and then 0 to 9. So either a digit followed by any character or any character followed by a digit. So this will only print those lines. And then finally we have the line that should not start with 0 and should end with a dot. So how do we do that?
So should not start with the digit pin within square bracket cap 0 to 9.
No, only 0, not a 0 to 9.
Oh, sorry, then 0.
Cap 0.
Okay,
Yeah. And then
Then,
it should end with a dot. That means backslash
so
dot dollar.
Dot
okay.
dot.
Dollar.
Is that all?
no, I think that should be
There should
something
there should be a
right
star between
there.
that.
Star. Yeah.
Star
Sorry?
before backslash. It can be any
Like this?
number. Yeah.
Okay. Is this correct?
I don't have
Starting
it.
with
Starting with?
Beginning, like it should be cap also beginning.
Yeah,
starting.
yeah. So start of line, then not 0, present 0 or more times, and then
Right.
actual dot at the end. So is this correct?
I don't think so. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be. So there shouldn't be a star after not 0, right?
Yes, exactly. So what should be the answer?
Dot star.
Yes, it should be dot star, because here this means the entire line cannot contain a 0, which is not what is told. So it's told only the first character should not be a 0. After that, there can be any character of any length, and at the end it has to be a real dot. The start character should not be 0, and the last character should be a dot, and in middle we can have any character any number of times. Right, so this will match only this line. Okay, so now let us see the options also.
So it looks like to derive your answer is actually easier. If you see the options, you'll get confused.
Yeah. So the first option is AAAA. So why is this option not correct?
Because even the first one, AA,
Yeah.
2 digit, is also a subset of the A, capital A followed by small 2A, right? So
So it will
that
match all
way,
substrings also.
correct.
So that's why this is not correct. So next is the word boundary dot 0 to 9 dot word boundary. So I don't even know which one this is trying to match.
I guess the third character is
Third one. Okay, yeah. But then this is actually 3 things, right? And not 2 things. So this is not correct. So let's see the third one. So here we have the one which we just now did. So starts with not 0, and then any character present any number of times, and then an actual dot. So we have escaped it, and then end of line. So this matches the last regex. And then we have this one which we are seeing. Yeah. So actually, according to this question, this wants only like words. So it does not want substrings. Right. So we want word boundary.
This is a sleek way of creating 4 combinations, right?
Yes, yes. So the one which we saw. So you can use AA and then again AA. So this will match any of these 4, but not any of these. Right, so hopefully this is clear. And then we have this one, which is again not correct. So here we are telling exclamation and then 0 and then dot and then end of line. Whereas this is the correct one for that. So should not start with 0 is done using the caret and not exclamation. and this one is all the lines with numbers. So this is not correct because we're just saying it should start with one or more digit. But this is the one where we are saying that it should contain at least one digit. So it should start with a digit, and then there can be 0 or more digits followed by this. So what is like a more like concise way of saying this? We just discussed this a few minutes ago. So instead of telling starts with 0 to 9, then 0 to 9 star ends, how can I say this? So this basically means one digit and then followed by 0 or more digits. So
plus,
yeah, so together this means one or more digits. Right? So we can directly say starts with 0 to 9 plus $. So that will mean one or more digits. And the last one again.
It's just like the previous one, except the previous one didn't have the point, $.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes, if you had the $, there, that would have been correct.
That would have been correct answer.
Yeah. And this also is not correct. So we do it this way. And this is the last option. So here we are basically matching any word which has two characters. One is a digit and another is anything. So it is 0 to 9 dot or dot 0 to 9. So this is actually not entirely correct. You should also put this in round brackets. No, not square, round brackets. Because otherwise this backslash b will only be there for the first one, and this backslash b will only be there for the last one. Yeah, so we should have this entire or thing inside the round brackets. Otherwise, the word boundary will not work always. Right? So I think they missed it in this option, but either way, so this is close enough. So this is the correct option for that. Right, so hopefully this paper was clear. So let's do quickly the FN version of this also, because we don't have many days. So some of the questions are same as the AN paper. So like you can see the second question will be same. So the first question is a new question. So here the question is, select the correct statement for the above command with respect to input file my file. So here we have sed -i, and then starts with end of line delete. So what is this doing?
it will delete empty lines.
Yeah, it will delete all the empty lines, and it is doing in place. So it is doing in the file itself.
File will be changed.
Yes, so the file will be changed. So it is asking select the correct statement for the above command with respect to input file. So what it is doing? So it is simply removing all empty lines. No character in this line will be deleted. So that is what this command is doing. Right, so hopefully this is clear. So these are treating those symbols as literal symbols, but obviously these are part of regex. Right, so hopefully this one is clear. So the second one is, I guess, exactly the same. So okay, it is a bit different. So here we have that you have modified get students and added utilities. That is same. But now you have done the git add on the utilities and not on the get students. So now what will be the status? So for example, we have get students .sh, which is modified, and we have utilities .sh, which is added, and here you have done the git add on the utility. So here you have done the git add. So what will be the status of each of these?
Students.sh should be untracked, and this would be shown in green, right?
So
staging area. Second one will be staging.
Okay, yeah. So this will be changes marked for commit. Yeah, changes staged or something like that. Okay, and the first one, so it will actually not be untracked, right? Because we're not creating a new file. So here you can see the file already existed. We just modified the file. So if it is already existed and tracked by Git, and it is version control.
Shown in red and changes not staged for commit, something like that.
This will be changes not staged. Right, so first one will be changes not staged, and this will be changes staged for commit. So you can see the correct option. So here we'll have changes to be committed utilities, and changes not staged to be commit is get students. Right, so hopefully this is clear. So here we don't have untracked because get students is already tracked because this is part of the report and we just changed it. Right, so let's move on. So we already saw a similar question, but here we are now asking what is the command to save and exit. So if you exit without saving, it is this one. If you save and exit, then it is this one.
WQ. Q exclamation is without saving.
Yes. Yes.
Without saving any changes.
Yes. So hopefully this is clear. So then we have this. So consider that the CWD is home varun documents. Select all commands that will make the root directory the current working directory. So note that home varun is the home directory of the current user who is running these commands. Right. So if you are in home varun directory, how can you go to the root of the file system?
Do cd dot dots or
CD dot dot.
Okay. So if you do
CD
cd
slash
dot dot, you will go to
CD
varun.
space slash.
Yeah, so that is one. So you can do cd slash and you will directly go to the root, or you can do cd dot dot to go to varun and then cd dot dot to go to home and then again cd dot dot, right? So you need 3 cd dot dot.
3 CD dot.
So that is one option. Cd slash is one option. And what happens if I just type cd without any arguments?
so you go to home varun.
Yes, it will go to the home varun. So after that, how many cd dot dots I need? Two, right? So one to go to home and one to go to root. So like cd without anything and cd with the tilde sign is the same thing. So those are the basically the options you can see. So cd dot dot to varun, cd dot dot to home, and then cd dot dot to root. So then why 4 cd dot dots is correct?
Because the root of root is root, so
Yes, yes. So by 3 you are already there, but if you do 4 also, it will still be there. So it will not give you any error. So like this is a correct option, but the more correct would be just 3 of these. And obviously this is the preferred one. So you will just do cd slash and go to slash directly. And this is also a solution. So you can do cd tilde to go to home. So home varun, like his home. So his home is home varun. And then dot dot to go to slash home and then dot dot to go to the root. And so hopefully this is clear. So let's move on. So cd dot will not do anything at all. So cd dot remains in the current directory. So if you do it once or 100 times, it will still be the same. And similarly, in the first one, we are doing cd to go to slash home slash varun, then cd dot dot to go to slash home, and then cd dot. So that will just remain there. So this will still remain in slash home. So this is not correct and this is not correct. And this will again just go to slash home slash varun and not go anywhere else. So this is also not correct. And so hopefully this is clear. So let's move to the next one. So here we have the question that assume your machine is part of a local area network. Basically, it is connected to some router or something. And how do you, which of the following bash commands can be used to get the IP address of the machine? So we already saw this in the previous also. So you can use the command ipaddr or the command ipadd. Both will give you the same output. So if you do ipaddr or if you do ipadd, both will give you the same output. And you can also do if config minus a. Right, so this will give you in a different format, but the answer will still be there. So basically, if config was how this was used earlier, but then now basically if config is replaced by the modern IP command. So right now we will just be using the IP command, although for like backwards compatibility, this is still present. So if I want to double check if ipaddr and ipadd actually are the exact same, so it looks same to me, but maybe something might be different. So how can I check that the commands are same? If I want to check if ipaddr and IP,
Diff.
sorry?
We can use diff, right?
Yes, we can use diff. So how will I form this? Like what will be? No, okay, yeah. So you can do that. So what you can do is you can execute this and then you can do equals equals and execute this in double square bracket. So this is possible. You can do this. So and then you can do echo same. So this is fine, but you can directly use diff also. So what you can do is you can use the this way of giving output of a command as a FIFO file, and there you can do ipaddr and ipadd. So you can see there is no output, which means that both the commands give exactly the same output. So whether you run ADDR or ADD, it will give you the same output. So this and this, these are both the correct options. So both will give you the IP. So give IP is not any valid command. So this will give you an error. And host name will only show you your system's name. So host name minus I will give you invalid option. So I is not a valid option. Right, hopefully this is clear. So let's move to the next one.
I
So the
tried hostname minus capital I on the VM.
yeah.
I'm actually getting 3 IP address, one 194, one 192, another V6 IP.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So here hostname I is a valid. So
Yeah.
here you can see. Let me see what is it. So here we have minus I, all IP addresses, whereas the host name in my system. So this is a different host name, right? You can see there is no minus I. So I think these are different applications.
Shells.
Yeah.
I think
So
maybe
this is no. So it will not depend on the shell. This will depend on the command itself. So yeah, this is GNU inet utils, and so this is my, and then so this one is net tools, right? So this hostname command comes from the package nettools, whereas the hostname commands that I have installed on my system, that comes from the GNU inet utils package. So the name of the package is, I mean, the name of the command is same, and the basic like use case of how it works is same. But as you can see, they have different parameters or flags, right? So here there is more flags, whereas here there is only a few number of flags. Right, so here also, I think the minus capital I will still not show you the IP address. So it will show you all the IP address. So display all network addresses of the host. This option enumerates all configured addresses. So yeah, you can, I think, technically claim this as also a correct option, because this is
Because there are 3 interfaces actually.
yeah. So you're getting the answer.
Yeah.
So you're getting the IP address. Yeah. So this should be correct. If so, it depends on like which command you're using. So as you can see, if you are running this inet utils,
it's a old paper, and that time people didn't have VM, but now I think this kind of questions, confusing questions will not come. But this is clearly a gray zone, right?
Yeah, it depends on the implementation basically. So in some implementations, this will work. Yeah, nice catch. Let's move on. So in this question, which of the following bash commands can be used to extract the system's processor architecture from the output of uname minus a? So for example, output of uname minus a on some machines is shown as below. So this will basically give you all your system information regarding your kernel and your OS. So what I want is just the processor architecture. So the processor architecture is x86-64. So x86 is basically the Intel architecture, like the instruction set, how it works, how the CPU works. And 64 is basically the bit. So it is a 64-bit architecture. And so it is also sometimes called AMD 64. So in this, what we have to do is we have to only get this part. So if this format is always the same, then you can simply split by the space. Right? So here you can simply count which is like what is the column in here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right? So you can split by space and always get the 12th field. So that is one way of doing it. So as you can see, uname minus a, and then cut the space F12 will give you the x86-64. So if you do uname minus a and then grep starts with dot star space, so this will simply just print that line again, right? Because this is just one line. So if you match, like if you search for a pattern which is starts with any character present any number of times and there is a space, so it will simply print the entire line. So this will not work, the first command. The second command will work if you're simply splitting by space and taking the 12th field. Similarly, the third one also, we are taking the 11th field, whereas this is the 12th field. So this will not work. And in the fourth one, we have used cut without the minus D. So if you don't use the minus D, then the default delimiter is tab. Whereas here we don't have any tabs. So these are spaces. So if you then split by tab, then everything will be field 1 and nothing will be field 2 or field 12. So that's why the fourth one is also incorrect. So hopefully this is clear.
Clear, sir.
Okay, so one more take on this. So for example, I have this uname minus A. If I do cut the space F12, so for my case, the format is different. So it will be 13. So I am getting this. But for example, if I do tr space with new line, and now I want to get only the x86-64, right? Or any architecture. So it may not be x86-64. So how do I print only the 11th line? Sorry, the 13th line.
13p.
Yeah, so you have to use a command, right? So yeah, if you're using sed, then you can use a -n and 13p to print that. Yeah, or you can also use awk. So you can say awk, and then only if nr equals 13, then you print that. Or you can also use head n 13 and then tail n1 to print that. Right? So these are a few ways of printing a particular line. Right, so let's move on now. So this next question is, what will the above command do? So here we are doing nr does not equals fnr print. So we already saw that nr is equal to fnr only in the first file, and in all other files nr will not be equal to fnr. So we are telling only if nr not equals fnr, print the entire line. So what will this do?
It will print, I guess,
All the
the
lines.
file of lines of file 2 and 3.
Yes, it will print all the lines of file 2 and 3 in the order of first file 2 and then file 3. Right, so it will print the lines in file 2 and file 3. So that is the correct option for this. Right, so let's move on. So this is, I think, the same. Okay, but now here we are using awk. Right, so this is the same question. So we have to put the key and the value side by side, and so every two lines should become one line. So now in here we are using awk, right? So this is one way which we saw. We can see if the nr mod 2 equals 1. So then we basically do printf %s colon, and for %s we basically give the entire line. So hopefully you're familiar with printf. So this is basically a formatted string. So %s means any string. So I'm giving the entire line, and printf by default does not print a new line at the end. So I will simply print that entire line followed by a colon and no new line after that. And then for the next line, which will be even numbered, I will simply print that entire line and along with the new line. So by default, the ORS remains as new line. So it will print all the odd lines without a new line at the end and with a colon at the end, and all even lines with, so it will start from there and it will print with a new line at the end. Right, so this will do exactly same as this. Right, so in the second one, we have just changed the 1 and 0. So this will do it for the odd lines and not the even lines. So this will not be correct. So for the even lines, we should not have the colon at the end. As you can see, the even lines are the values. So after the odd lines, there should be colon. And the third option, you can see what we're doing is if it's a odd line, then we are printing, and then if it is a even line. So this block is only entered if nr mod 2 equals 1. So this condition will never be actually true, right? So only if, let's say, we had no condition here and we checked both the conditions inside with if, then it was correct. But because here we already have a condition in the block, so the block is only entered if nr mod 2 equals 1. So this nr mod 2 equals 0 will never be true. So this print will never work. And similarly for this one also. So here the ordering is correct, but here what we are doing is, so for all the odd lines, we are printing. So here the first, like all the odd lines will be printed, whereas the even lines should be printed and the odd lines should not be printed. So here if 1 was 0, then this would have been correct. So here we have done it correctly, that we have a block which is unconditioned, and inside the block we are using if and else. So this pattern is correct, but instead of 1, if this was 0, then this would have been correct. But it is incorrect because we have 1 here. Right, so hopefully this is clear. So let's move to the next one. So then again, this is a cron question. So now we want which of the following commands will run the script every Sunday at 5 p.m. So let's try that again. So if we have star. So how do we say 5 p.m.?
17. 17.
0.
So this will be 0 and this will be
17.
Yeah, so 17 because this is 5 p.m. And then we have every Sunday. So what will be the next week?
Every Sunday will be 0 or 0.
Okay, so like which field will be 0?
I think the third field will be 0.
Last star 0.
This is 0 and these will be star. Right, so this will remain star. So at 1700 on any Sunday. So that is the option answer. So you can see 017 star 0. So this will print like this will run the script at 5 p.m. on every Sunday. Right,
They're
so
almost giving us the hint in the question itself, right?
yeah.
So
So this
for example, it's a 5-star. So it starts with kind of the lowest granularity, minute, then goes to hour, then goes to day, then goes to month. The only last piece is like the weekday, right? So otherwise, from left to right, it's starting from most granular to month, which is the highest level, and then after that, just the day of the week is kind of something odd. Right?
Yeah, and usually like on all the papers we have seen, they will always give you the like what each field means. Yeah.
Correct.
Right, so let's move on. So this is again like the same question, but now we have soft link. So the question remains the same, that select command which individually, which individually will make the link Sanjay a broken link. So if we want to make Sanjay a broken link, then deleting or moving any of these will cause that, because Sanjay is dependent on Arun, which is dependent on Abdul, which is dependent on Meena, which is dependent on Linda. And this is because these are soft links. So this is a parent-child relationship. So here, if I remove Linda, obviously the actual file is deleted, so none of these links will work. All of the links will be broken. Similarly, if I remove Meena, then Meena is deleted, and Abdul, Arun, Sanjay, all of these will be broken. And similarly, if I move Abdul into some other, so then the file is present. So if I move Abdul, then Linda will obviously be present and Meena will continue to work, and the Abdul new file will also be working, but Arun will no longer work because Arun was pointing to Abdul and that path is now changed. So Arun will be broken, and because Arun is broken, Sanjay will also be broken. Right, so in this one also we will break that link, and if we simply change the contents, or like if I append a line into Arun, that will obviously not break the link, so the link will still be there. So the fourth one is not correct, and obviously if these are correct, then none of these is also not correct. And so hopefully this is clear. Right, so let's move to the next one. So here the question is, select all files that are either soft or hard link. And so this I think is the same question. So okay, so the inodes are different. So you can see A, B, C has the same inode number, hopefully totally same. Yes, yeah, so it is totally same, A, B, and C. And D is a soft link to C. So D is also a link. So A, B, C, and D are links, and E and F are different. So in here, A, B, C, D are the correct option. E and F is the wrong option. And so hopefully this is clear. ABC are hard links of each other, and D is a soft link of C.
This is clear.
Yeah, okay. So let's move into the next one. So here, consider below the command and output in the current working directory. So in the current directory, we have script1 and script2. Script1 has echo script1, script2 has echo script2, and they have the correct interpreter in the shebang. So now after running the above commands, which of the following commands will run successfully and return exit code 0? So if I run /script1, then why will it not run?
Execute.
Yes, because we don't have a execute permission. So we cannot run it this way. But if I run /script2, it will run because we have execute permissions. Similarly, we can run script1 with bash, because even if it does not have execute permissions, we can run a script by using bash and then name of the script. And similarly, if it has execute permissions, then also we can run it with bash and then the name of the script. So here only the first option is incorrect and all the other are the correct options. So hopefully this is clear. So we can move to the next one. So here we are asked which of the following commands will print all the files, file names that have execute permission for the owner and contains at least a line with the exact text #confidential #. The exact text means nothing less or more on that line. So basically we have to match that the entire line is just this thing, right? And the file also should have execute permission. So we are also given a help from the grep. So V is invert matching. L means files without match. So suppress normal output. Instead, print the names of files which do not output from which no output would have been printed. Similarly, lowercase l is suppress normal output. Instead, print name of each input file from which output would normally have been printed. And O is only print the part of the pattern that is matched. So in this, what we want to do is first see that the file should have execute permissions, and then out of those files, only files that have confidential in it. So let us create something like that. So let me create 4 files. And in file 1, let me have a script. And here, let me add this confidential. Right? And in file B, this is also a script, but this does not have any confidential. In file C, this is not a script, but this has the confidential. The spelling is correct. And in file D, this is neither a script nor it has the word confidential. Right, so if we print all the files, you can see file 1 is a script and has confidential. File B is a script and does not have confidential. File C is a text with confidential. File D is a text without confidential. So let me also make A and B executable. So now you can see A and B have the execute permission. So from this, which files should be printed? So we should only print if the file has execute permissions and has confidential. So only file A should be, because it has confidential and it is executable. So how can we do that? So this is basically if I do ls minus l, this is the output of ls minus l. So how can I first get those files which have execute permissions?
Minus x in square bracket.
Yes, one thing we can do is we can do minus x in square bracket. So basically we have to go over each file. So we have to do for I in star, and then we have to do if minus x $I, and then we have to basically see if it also has the confidential. If I simply print $I, then well, let's see what will print. So there should be a do here. So then it will print both A and B, but now we should also check for the grep. So then what we can do is here we can again do another search. So we can do if grep minus q, the pattern which is so minus q, what was the flag for the full line? So we can also use the caret here. We can do caret and then confidential caret and then $. So if this exists in the file, then we print the file. So echo $I. So then we will only get A. But instead of using a if with grep with minus q and then inside doing echo I, how can we also directly use grep to just print the name of the file? We saw that in the hint. We can use the lowercase. Yeah, so instead of using the if, what we can do, there is a dollar here. So we can simply make it L instead of Q. So then I can say $I. So if this I don't need the if here, sorry. So yeah, then it will only print A and not B. Right? And similarly, instead of using the minus X or basically the test command, how can I use grep just from the output of LSL to get the files that have execute permissions?
So ls minus l grep x.
Just X won't work. So
Icon,
starts with dot X. Right. So then this will give me the only the files which has execute permissions. And then how do I get the last column of this, basically the name of the file?
We can do a cut.
So will cut always work in LS? Because it has multiple spaces sometimes. So in here it is not there. But sometimes LS will have multiple spaces between columns. So,
base name.
Sorry?
Base name.
I didn't catch that.
Base name.
Yeah. Oh no, base name will not work. Because base
Shall
name only.
variable, right?
No, base name will only like take from like if it's a slash separated. So here, like you can use cut, but then you have to pre-process it first by squeezing the spaces. Right. So once you squeeze the spaces, then you can do cut, but then you have to count. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right. So cut T space F9. So then you can get the name. Or another thing you can do is you can basically reverse the string and cut by space and take the first field and then again reverse the string. Right. So if you reverse and then cut by space and take the first, so you will get the basically the name of the file. So this will also only work if the file name itself does not have a space. If the file name has a space, then it will not work. And
Unix file names cannot have space, right? If I'm not wrong, because
no, file names can have spaces. That is allowed.
Oh yeah, if you give it in quotes. Yep.
Yes. Or you can also escape it. So basically, if I do touch A space B, this will create a space B space, or I can do touch B / space C. So this will also create a file with B space C. You can either escape the space or you can quote the space. So if I basically do this, so if I reverse the string, then cut by space and take the first field and then again reverse, then also I will get the name of the files. So then how do I basically grep over each of the files for a pattern? So basically now I have the files A and file B, and I want to see if each of I want to check if I want to check all the files. So if file A contains confidential, then I print. If file B contains confidential, then I print B.
File star.
No, so I already have this output from this command. So I want to now use these output and I want to run grep on these files.
So you can store the output into a cell variable and then print that.
Okay.
So I can say A equal to $, then within square bracket the entire thing, and then I can say cat $A.
Yeah, but then I want to only print the name of that which has confidential in it. Right. So basically I need to run grep, right, to find that. So how do I run grep on each file one by one? So what command lets us run any command on each line of the standard input one by one?
Exargs.
Yeah, exargs. Right. So I can use exargs and I can ask it to run the command grep with the argument -L and the first parameter, which is confidential found. And then this will run grep -L confidential, and then it will give it the arguments A and B. Right? And then grep will just print A because only A has that. So this is also one way to do that. Right? So now let's see what are the options given here. So the first option is using the, okay, so I think all the options are using find. Okay. So yeah, we can also do this using find. So in find, we have, just like we have minus type to check the type of the file, we have minus perm to check the permission of the file. Right. So here we are checking that the user should have execute permission. So if the user has the execute permission, so we are assuming that he also has the read and write permissions. So read, write, and execute will have the 7 permission, and anyone else will have the just the read permission. So the 4-4. So 7-4-4 means read, write, execute, then read, not write, and not execute, and then again not write and not execute, only read. So 7-4-4 will match the files that have execute in the user. And then we are doing the exec. So in find, we can directly use exec instead of using exargs. And here we are using grep minus L, and then starts with confidential and then ends. So this is one way of running this. So the first one is, why is the first option incorrect?
Due to permission triple.
Permission.
Yeah, so the 4 will not have execute in the user, right? So similarly for option 3 also. And in option 4, what is incorrect here?
No dollar.
Yes, so we don't have the
Starting and ending.
yeah, the anchoring we don't have. So the start and end is not there. And so this basically, what does this permission mean? 765.
So the user has all permission, but for others it's only read, write, and the group. The other is only read and execute.
Yes, so this is read, write, execute, read, write, and read, execute. Yeah. Right. So if this was basically saying only user has execute, then due to this also it would be incorrect, because 5 tells that other also has execute. But here the bigger flaw is that we have no anchoring around this. And the fifth option is the same. So right in here, we actually don't care if others have the execute permission. We just care if the user has the execute permission. So here 765 is also correct, and 744 is also correct, and everything else is same in the option 2 and option 5. So hope this
And
is
again, 6 options they gave, right?
yeah. This is 5 options. Yeah.
5 options.
Yeah. It's if you are using find, then you can do everything in one command itself, right? So you can do type F to get the files, you can do perm to get the permission, and you do exec to execute any arbitrary command. But you can also obviously do it using other commands and piping them together. It's hopefully both the ways are clear. Let's quickly do the other ones also. So in this, we have analyzed the location and other details of the script my command, and from the below command output. So you can see when we are doing ls minus l tilde, then we are getting my command. So where is this my command present?
Home directory.
In the home
Users
directory.
home directory. Users home directory.
That user's home directory. So what is the user's name?
SC.
So what is the path of this my command?
/home/SC.
/SC.
/home/SC/ my command. So you want to be able to execute this script by typing my command. So you don't even want to type // You just want to type my command on your shell from any working directory. So which of the following commands are all necessary to be executed? And so you have to do 2 things. First of all, you can see that this is not executable at all. So you have to first make it executable. So you have to do chmod 744 to make it executable. And also to make this executable from anywhere, you have to add this path, which is the tilde, into the path. So basically what you're doing is path equals $path : tilde. So colon is the symbol you use in the path variable to separate multiple paths. And here what you're doing is you're taking the entire value of path, and then in the end you're appending colon and tilde. So you're adding your home directory also in the path variable. So for this,
export path equal to $path, not export command is not required.
So if you are doing this in the bash RC, then you need to do this. So obviously when
Right.
if you're running this will only work for your current shell. As soon as you open another shell or close that shell, this will not work.
Correct.
But yeah, just for your current shell, doing this with or without export will have the same effect, unless you open a subshell in there. So if you have export, then the subshell will also get this, but if you don't have export, then the subshell will not get this. So in your current shell, it will work in both cases. So these are obviously not required. You don't need to move my command to be my command.sh, because as it's told, you want to just type my command. You don't want to type my command.sh. So this is not correct. And similarly, you should not move this to your PWD, because then you'll have to always keep on moving it, and it'll then not be present in home. So it'll keep on moving. So you don't keep on moving it. And even if you're moving it, then you still need to run it with /. So only if you have it in path, only then it will work. So this will not be correct. And similarly, this one is changing the owner of the command. So you don't have to change the owner. You can keep the owner as it is. So this is also not required. So let's move to the next one. So here we have this same AB, AB. So this is giving you AA, AB, BA, BB. So here we have ABC, AA, B, AAD. Right. So here also we have sort unique. So basically we want to count how many unique combinations will be there. So obviously as A is duplicated, you can simply drop it. So you have 3 times 2, 6 combinations. Right. So ABC into AD. So you have 6 combinations. So the answer to this will be 6. Right. So
In fact, here, because AA is the second part, even if you don't give sort, the answer would still be 6.
No, so because A is in the second part, they will be adjacent, right? So it will be, so we can see it here.
Yeah.
So if I do A, B, C, and then A, B, so you can see that all the duplicates will be together. So even if you, if you don't, even if you don't, still the answer will be the same. Yeah.
Correct. That's what I.
Yeah. So hopefully this is clear. So yeah, in this, as we discussed, now instead of and, we have or. So instead of killing on all the even ones, we are killing on the odd ones. So we are only killing 6 times, and so only the 5 commands are left. So instead of 6, here the answer is 5. And so hopefully this is clear. Earlier we were doing and, now here we are doing or. Everything else is same in this. Right, so let's move to the next one. So here we have a select command that will print the lines containing a pattern that follow these. So we have should not have any spaces, should have at least 3 consecutive alphabets, upper or lower, should have at least 2 consecutive digits, should start with an alphabet, should end with a digit, and can have any character other than white space. So basically, it should match all of these patterns.
It's like a password rule, right? Yeah. All the 6 rules must be passed. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. So when you give all these, only this 2 should be output. So only these 2 lines match all these conditions. So how can we do that? So how can I ensure that the lines that match
minus v space, grep minus v space.
Okay, so grep should not have any spaces. Yeah. So first one will be basically you will be using grep minus v space. Right. So let me create a file with all the passwords. So this might take some time. JE2. Let me actually put it side by side, so it's easier for me to copy. So IADS JE2EX E21M E21E @ WE1 12TWAI UEDJ1 AWJSIUC space 09W space 8A FUNA 9WEPF FWEQAN 95F9 PAOWE and ISFHEWA 12312810293. So just let me know if I have copied it correctly or there is something that is only copied. So how do we check if that for lines that are matching all of these conditions? So what is the first condition? So it's grep minus v space, right? So lines that do not have any spaces. So this will then remove the fourth line, right? So if I run this on this pass file, you can see only the fourth line, which has spaces, is removed. So now how do I ensure that all the other conditions are also satisfied?
I can either pipe it or
Pipe it.
Pipe it is better.
Yes, you can pipe it to grep. So then what will be the second one? Should have at least 3 consecutive alphabets, upper or lower.
3 consecutive alphabets, so we can then go for bracket dot.
Bracket dot, this one?
No, not dot, that colon, bracket colon digits. So grep minus C or something like that.
Okay. Yeah. So alphabet, so this will be alpha. Yeah, and present 3
times.
Yeah.
Curly
So we have
bracket.
yeah, and we also have to use E.
Minus E.
So now we will get only these lines. I think number of lines is less. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, yeah. So 1 is not there. So this is 6. This is 7. So we lost another. So the next thing is should have at least 2 consecutive digits. So this is also similar, right? So we can use here digit instead of the alpha, and here also we do it 2 times. So present 2 consecutive digits, so that we get only these 3, and then it should start with an alphabet. So how do we do that?
Cap.
Yes, so cap and then alpha. So you can do A to Z, A to Z. Yeah. Or you can do this alpha. Both are fine. So now we are getting these 2 only, and it should also end with a digit. So this is also done same way. So you have to have 0 to 9 followed by a dollar.
Done.
Last is can have any character other than white space. So we can actually do it directly in the first one. So because anyway we are negating space, we can just negate any white space by using \s. So then this is basically how we do it. So we basically have to run a lot of grep commands. So you can see the answer. So we basically get out the my file into grep. So first one is you can either use colon space colon or you can use \s. And then we are doing it should start with a alpha and then dot star and then end with a digit, right? Because there's 2 things we can also combine in one grep, right? Because it starts with something and ends with a digit. Starts with a alpha, ends with a digit. And similarly should have 3 consecutive alpha and should have 2 consecutive digits. Right? So hopefully this is clear how this pattern is matching.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So here we have 2 commands, one a sed command and another also is a sed command. So here we are matching, we are grouping something, any like any 3 characters, and we are substituting simply by that. So whatever we are matching, we are substituting by that. So here we are actually not doing anything. So the output will be same as first. And in the second one, we are matching 3 consecutive characters as separate groups, and we are substituting that as the same characters in the same order. So both of these commands will not make any changes to the file, right? Because the first one also matches for 3 consecutive characters and simply substitutes that with itself, and second one also matches 3 consecutive characters and substitutes that with itself. So we are not doing any changes. So select all the correct options with respect to the code above. Note we are using BRE. So we have escaped the backslashes. We have escaped the brackets. So command 1 and command 2 will return the same output irrespective of the number of characters in the file. Right? Because if there is only 1 character, then the first one will not match, whereas the second one will also not match. Similarly, if there is 2, then none of these will match. If there is 3, then both will match. and both we saw will not make any changes. So whether there is less than 3 or greater than equal to 3, the command is actually not doing any change to the file at all. So that's why the first option is correct. So it will return the same output irrespective of the number of characters. The second option is command 1 and command 2 will return the same output irrespective of the number of lines. So which is also true. So any set command will always like return the same output irrespective of the number of lines. So it will just do it line by line. The third option is the output of command 1 will have more characters than that in the file, which is not true because command 1 is not doing any changes. And the output of command 2 will be the same as the contents of the file, which is true. So both command 1 and command 2 will have the same output as the contents of the file. And so that's why option 4, 2, and 1 are correct. So hopefully this is clear.
So maybe a corollary to this question is the line has only 6 things, A, B, C, D, E, F, right?
Yeah.
6 letters. And we are substituting here, we are making backslash 1, 2, 3, we do backslash 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
What will be the output or something like that. So that will be,
yeah, it will basically reverse first 3 and then reverse the next 3.
Right.
So we can also see that.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 second. So if we are doing this, right? So we use E. So we are matching one group and then another group and then another group. And so let me do the S. So I am replacing that with 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
So if I am doing that with, let's say, ABC, so then I will get CBA. But if I'm doing with ABCDEF, then I will get CBA, FED. So first 3 is matched and reversed, then the next 3 is matched and reversed. And if I have G here, then G will remain as it is, because it's not able to match it. Yeah. Hopefully this is clear.
But however, if you apply the first one, anyway, it's a triple dot with backslash 1, doesn't matter. But
yeah. So here, because it's same order, always it will be same.
Correct. Yeah.
So in the next one, this is again Divya. So I think we already saw this in this paper. It is again given. We want to merge same thing. Select the command that will do it. Okay, so now we are seeing the sed, right? So we also discussed how to do it in sed.
I think it is quiz 2 question, NMS.
Yeah. So you can use N to get it, and then you substitute new line with the colon, right? So we already discussed this when we were doing the forenoon of this paper. So this is also one way. So you can use awk, you can use sed, and you can also use the bash scripting with while loops. Right? And this is another way. So instead of appending line and then substituting, what you can do is only for the odd number of lines, you substitute the end of line with colon. So instead of going into the new line, you put a colon at the end. Sorry, you don't remove the new line. So the new line will be there, but you have also added the colon at the end of every odd line. And then you simply substitute the you again pass it to sed, and you again read 2 lines in every cycle, and you substitute the new line with just a space. So I think the space should not be there. It should be 2 forward slashes together. So you simply remove the new lines from the first line. So because we have already added the colon here, so we are just removing the new line. So here we are using 2 sed commands to do this, whereas here we are directly doing it in one sed. Right, so hopefully this is clear. So this first will just add colons on every odd line at the end of the odd line, and the next one will simply join every 2 lines. And so let's move on. So which of the following commands can be used to identify empty files immediately under the current working directory? So see the below examples. So we have cat input. So this is 112233. WCL of input, so less than input, is 3. WCC of input is 8, and grep dot of input is 112233, and echo $0 echo dollar question mark is 0, and cat file1, which is an empty file, so this will give you nothing. Grep dot file1 will give you nothing, and echo dollar question mark will give you 1 after doing this, and WCL of file1 will give you 0. So the question is, which of the commands can be used to identify empty files immediately under the current working directory? So empty files, as you saw, if you are running grep dot on it, will give you a exit code of 1. Right? So find dot slash max step 1 type f lists only files directly under the current working directory. We've also seen how the max depth works, and the type f will only list files. Right? So now what we are doing is we are storing all files returned by find dot max step 1 type f and in a variable, and then we are iterating over each file in that variable, and we are then using a for loop to see that if the word count, so the character count basically of that file is equal to 0, right? So obviously if that is an empty file, it will have 0 characters. So if the wc minus c, so the character count is 0, then we print the name of that file, and otherwise we don't print it. So only for empty files we will be printing their name. So this is a correct option. In the next one, we are again iterating, but we are seeing that if the wc minus l fails, so wc minus l will never fail even if the file is empty. Only if the file does not exist will it fail. So here we are giving it as standard in. So anyway, wc minus l will never fail. And here it will only just print 0 if it's empty, and it will print non-zero if it's not empty. So here we cannot use or in this case, because this will not give a non-zero exit code. It's similarly for the next one, what we are doing is grep dot and file. So this grep dot will only succeed if the file is non-empty. So instead of and, this should be or. So if this is or, then we will only print those files which are empty, because the grep will fail and it will give a non-zero exit code, and only for that case we will run file. But here, because we have and, so this is not correct. Right? Similarly, in the next one, we are using awk. So we are doing we are running awk and print nr. So we are printing the number of lines in that file. Right? So nr will contain the number of line at the end. So if we are seeing that the number of line of that file is equal to 0, so if there is no lines in that file, then we are printing that file. Right? So this is also a correct option. And here this option is basically same as this one as we saw. So instead of and we have given or. So only if this grep command fails, then we are printing the name of the file. So the command grep will only fail if the file is empty. And finally, we can also use the find command with the size attribute. So if I set minus size 0, so it will only print those files which have size of 0 bytes. And so hopefully this is clear, like each option is clear. Right, so instead of doing the grep greater than dev null, how can I also silence grep commands?
Minus q.
Yeah, we can use the minus q command, right? So and also in this wc minus c, so instead of using less than $file, if I just give $file, will this work? So if I just
No,
give,
I don't think so, because file needs to be streamed into wc minus c.
no, so if you see the man page of wc, wc also takes file as argument. So I can also give wc and then name of a file. So wc minus c also I can give. So why will it not work if I don't give the, like if I don't give it as standard input? We've discussed this, I think, in around quiz 1. So what will be the difference in output if I do wc minus c file and if I do wc minus c less than file? So basically, if I give it as a standard in. Anyone? Does any of you remember that? So not just C, but if I do L or anything. So if I just run it with the file name, it will print the answer and also the name of the file. Whereas if I give it as standard input, it will only print the number. Right. So if the output is like this, then I cannot use the equal to 0 inside this. So this will not work. So only if I give it as standard input, I will only get the answer, and then I can like directly compare if it is equal to 0. Right, so hopefully this makes sense. So this is the last question of this paper. So we have basically discussed 22 May papers, both AN and FN. And tomorrow we don't have any TA session, so we have the instructor session where the revision of end term will be done. And in Thursday, we will be discussing the 23 September, so the previous term paper. So just let me know if there is any other doubts.